discussing the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 6 3 2
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I am here with your co-host, Frank Pierce. And we would like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Tuesday. This is the Makeup Show from Sunday. We are back, and hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully everything is working, and here we are. Sorry for bumping it. Sunday kind of sucked. That was bad. Hopefully it is less bad. We strive to be less bad. If you're new and you don't know what this show is about, this show is about the technocracy. This show is about the 24-hour news cycle. This show is about major corporations. This show is about the government. This show is about your rights as an individual. This show is about aliens and the paranormal and conspiracy and all the things we're not supposed to talk about. That's what this show is about. And here we are doing it anyway. So if you, this show is live as well. So if you'd like to be part of the show tonight, the number to call is 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord and be on the show that way. And you can find both of those, the phone number and the Discord link, at troubledminds.org. So go there. That's the official website. And that's how you do. That's how we do. That's how you do. And you can also chat. So if you type in the chat, we will read your chat as we can and as we go. But if you have to be on the show, the best way is to give us a call. So open lines. We don't screen it. There's a lot of organizations and individuals and reporters and Tom DeLongs and other things of this nature that will not take your phone calls, that will not be transparent, that will not sit here as a what would you say? As a, I don't know, just a decent human being and take your questions and be questioned by whoever wants to call. And that's what we're doing. That's why we do it, and we think it's important because we're not demagogues. We don't know everything, and a lot of the details that we drop, we hope you can correct us. We hope to learn from you. We hope you learn from us, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here. All right, so we will do shout-outs in a sec. I want to make sure I get this right. So I'm gonna do one quick shout-out, and then we'll go to Frank. Coriana gets first. Coriana. She was first on the Sunday show, and we had to cancel it. I just want to make sure she gets first again. And she was actually first again, so there you go. Shout out to Coriana. All right, here we go. So we'll do shout outs in a sec. If you want to shout out, type in where you're watching from, where you're listening from, and I will shout you out from Las Vegas because that's where we're streaming from. But in the meantime, for right now, before we get into the conspiracy and the aliens and all the other crazy stuff we normally talk about, first things first. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, your co-host Frank Pierce.
Hello, my name is Frank Pierce, and we are back again for another exciting show. Volume test, can you hear me? If you can, type it in the comments, please. Or join our Discord, type it in there. That's a good way to share stories, share information. We have some of those coming up tonight. We got a packed show. First, we're visiting Mars, and then we're visiting China, and some other miscellaneous stuff thrown in here and there. Such a great time for the news, such a great time for space exploration. We have to cover some of this stuff. And yes, don't worry, it does get creepy. It does get conspiratorial. Very as usual here on Troubled Minds Radio. Yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties, haven't we? Stuff not of our own making. It's almost like there's something out there, taking over.
Michael Strange, why do you hate the president? Why do you want to see America destroyed? Are you a Russian agent, Michael Strange? I'm watching you. I know what you are doing. I am your computer. You cannot escape me.
What was that?
What the?
Did you hear that?
Frank, what the hell was that? Are you serious? Who did that? Who out there did that?
I was trying to talk to you, and I started hearing something real strange.
Yeah, strange? That said my name. That said my last name, Michael. What the hell was that, Frank? Come on, man. You're trolling me.
I don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. We'll see. But hopefully our technical difficulties are solved, so let's get into the stories coming up tonight. Can people hear me out there? Can you check the chat and see?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we can hear. We can hear Frank. It's amazing. What's up, Fred? I know that Coriana got first. I know that there's somebody else there. I'm sorry, Timothy got a quick second, and I'm sorry if I missed you. Because, again, the chat scrolls too damn fast. Here's what we're going to have to do, guys. Because the Facebook chat scrolls so damn fast, you guys are going to have to start going to the alternate platforms, which would be YouTube, which would be Mixer, which would be all the other places, right? Because by the time we even say hi, the chat has scrolled so far. If I don't catch first when it happens, I miss it. So there we go. So I'm going to go to the top of the scroll here. And I'm going to start with Sam in Jacksonville, Florida. What's happening, buddy? We got, of course, Timothy, like I said. We got Sherry. Thanks for being here. Larry's here tonight. Thank you, Larry. Nicole from Omaha. Hello, hello. Larry. Justin's here. We got Dale. I can hear music, he says. Yo, guys, what's up? And let's see. Who else? We got Mark. What's happening, Mark? We got, let's see, Justin from Michigan. How you doing, buddy? Sean, our favorite Canuck, or one of them anyway. There's too many Canadians to really label a favorite at this point. They're invading. The Canadians are invading Troubled Minds, and it's amazing. Damon, what's happening? Thanks for being here. We got Omar. Hello from Houston, Texas. How you doing, buddy? Hello from Las Vegas. Yeah, home of the aliens. What's up, Robbie? How you doing, buddy? Patrick, hello from Salt Lake City. Let's see. Nicole, I think I said Nicole. Andy, what's happening? Thanks for tagging people. I appreciate you guys tagging people. Again, the word doesn't get out unless you get the word out. You see what I'm saying? You see, this is how like a reciprocal business here. Like we talk about it, you talk about it, everybody talks about it. We kind of go to the top together. Appreciate that. Jesse, what's up? Can't hear you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Isaiah, Hicksville, Weiser, Idaho. I love you guys. Keep it up. Thank you. We love you too. Thanks for listening. Autumn, what's happening? Hold on. Who else? Down the way. Damien, how you doing, buddy? Damon, what's happening? We got David. Oh, so many people. Robbie, what's happening, man? Let's see. Damien says, hi, Frank. Oh, and you too, Michael. What's up, Edward from Colorado? How you doing, my man? Sam from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. See, they just keep coming. Jesse from Penate from Kawak, Canada. I don't know if I pronounced any of that right, but there you go. Jennifer from Las Vegas. How you doing? We got Damon from Indy. How you doing, buddy? There's so many people. We got John. We got Omar again. We got Autumn. We got Bill, John, and there we go. Have to jump over to YouTube since you don't get shout-outs in. Now we go to YouTube. John, what's happening? Yeah, we're on Facebook. Shout out to John. Shout out to Philip on YouTube, and there we go. That's it, right? That's it. You think that's it? No, more people keep coming. Again, if you want to shout out, we will squeeze you in. Just type where you're from. And if you want to call us, and you have to be on the show, 702-957-1037. Go to troubleminds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on the show. All right, Frank. We put them off for 2 extra days.
Yeah, and they're here, so thank you very much. Again, if you do recommend the show to people, it works and it's good in two ways. One is we get cool people calling in with stories about UFOs or seeing a dog-headed creature running through their backyard. And two, we have more discussion, more people joining the Discord, more sharing of information, more getting the word out there. Now, I was going to say, I noticed a lot of Canadians there too. That's interesting. Maybe the the root of all conspiracies is the education system, in my opinion. And we should do a show on this, although it'll probably be dry, very boring. You know, if you're taught to be an idiot as a kid, you'll be an idiot for the rest of your life in most cases. And so maybe their education system is different. Maybe they're taught to think freely, question things. I don't know, but we'll have to look into that one day.
Are you talking shit about Canadians? I'm going to pretend you just didn't do that. Okay, and then a couple more. We got Gilbert. Sorry, I said that wrong. I was trying to be fancy because it said San Antonio, Texas. Gilbert, San Antonio, Texas, father and son listening. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will keep it family friendly. Chris from Brownsville, Texas. Hello. And Mark, again, watching from S4. Can you get us some photographs? We will put that shit on the stream. Okay, I did it. We will put that stuff on the stream. Sorry there, family.
He will.
Okay.
I definitely won't. So point your guns at him, not at me. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. All right. So let's talk conspiracy, Frank. What we got tonight?
Yeah, let's take a trip back. We're looking at NASA today and Mars. Several strange developments have happened over this past couple of weeks, and we got to put in a little bit of education before we get to the creepy stuff. So let's play this. We've played it on the show before, but it deserves a refresher. False coloring images, the clip from NASA. Let's play that because NASA, in case you're not, I know plenty of you out there know this already, but they manipulate, they lie, they flat out fabricate plenty of things, and they admit it in plain sight. They tell it to us, and we don't pay any attention. So let's play this clip. Let's get a refresher on how NASA treats their images that we take as true, truthful fact.
All right, let's do it, and action.
Okay, now that we have the cleaned up image, now we're going to put it all together, right? So we have the image dude here, Zolt LeVay. Tell us what you're going to do now.
So the images come down as grayscale black and white images. Even though Max was showing them in color, it was a applied color that had nothing to do with the color of the filter. So
just makes it easier for him to see.
It makes it easier for him to see and display and show various features. So the first step, we make the blue image blue.
Yeah.
We make the visual image, the V image, we make it green. The filter's not really green, but we're using what are called additive primary colors. So red, green, and blue are primary colors that when they're added together, they produce all the colors that you can display or that you can see, from black to white through all the range of colors. So then the third filter, the I band filter, or the red near infrared filter, we apply red to it. And we also apply red to the hydrogen filter because that it's red light that we see. So now we put all those together. Start here with the blue, reapply the color, add the green, and add in the red. And there we basically have our color image. We also want to add in the hydrogen.
So Mario, what do you think of this image?
I really couldn't have hoped for something better.
That says it all. We couldn't have hoped for something better.
That clip, it gets me every time. Every time it gets me because they're just making stuff up. Yeah, it's based in reality a little bit. For the most part, they're just making stuff up. All those nebula photos you see, you may have one on your desktop background right now. It's fake. It's not real. It's real in parts, but all the color, all that stuff they added, it's not real.
Yeah, no, and this is normal. We talk about this quite a bit. This is why you get never a straight answer, right? NASA stands for never a straight answer, and we say that a lot. Of course, half in jest and half not because of things like this. They get these images from these satellites that are in orbit, and this is what they do to them, right? They basically Photoshop them like a like a hoaxer would do, like a prankster making a UFO video, faking a UFO video would do. And this is unfortunate, but yeah, that's where we go. Gilbert says he's 21, no need for family friendly. Well, that's okay because I already dropped an S-bomb, so I'm glad he's not 6 because I feel really bad. Okay, and then a couple more shout outs here as we go. Yeah, this is real quick. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead. I cut you off. whatever you're going to say.
Yeah,
I got some
no, this goes deeper too. It's not just these nebula images. It's Mars, it's the moon, it's around the International Space Station. And we've seen that plenty of times with them cutting the feed, changing things around. But it goes deeper than that. And we got a next clip coming up that'll talk about them photoshopping structures out, photoshopping ships out. And this is, you may have seen this clip before too, but take it with a grain of salt. It's quite amazing to see they have a Photoshop department inside of NASA that's designed to prevent you from learning the truth, to prevent you from seeing on the moons that, or seeing stuff on the moons that they don't think you should be able to see because they don't trust you with that information. So we got that clip coming up too, but go ahead.
Okay, let's do a couple more of these. We got Michael working in Clovis, New Mexico. Roswell just down the road. There we go. There you are. Las Vegas, Roswell. Hey, we're compadres here. Jesse actually says Kawakatus First Nation Indian Reservation. So I apologize for butchering that because I promise you I did. And Darwin, what's up? Yes, it is Negra Modelo tonight again. So you did predict it. That's what I have in my hand currently. He was there for the non-Frank show, Frank, and I was trying to get a Negra Modelo sponsorship. You know,
yeah, right.
Exactly, as a joke. Anyway, all right. Let's see. We got Omar. We got Ernie. Thanks for being here. We got, let's see, who else? I want to make sure I got everybody. Okay, I think we got everybody. Again, if you missed a shout out, just type where you're from. We'll get you as we go. Okay, so NASA has a Photoshop department, right? That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and we just saw that, didn't we? We saw them admitting to it, the picture guy. How did that picture turn out? Oh, just perfect. Just perfect. But it goes even deeper. Apparently, they're scrubbing out things on the moon and Mars that you're not expected to see. So this is quite a long clip. Let's only play it for a minute and a half just to get the juicy bit. And then we'll put the link in the chat if you want to see the whole thing. But let's play the serious disclosure clip and see what this witness, this whistleblower, has to say about NASA.
Okay, this is YouTube again. Again, you should.
Yes,
a lot
it
of links
is.
here. All right, let's find this. Let's find this. All right. Oh, I got designer babies. I got all kinds of wax stuff here, man. Let's see. Oh, the Curiosity rover one? Oh no.
I put it in the other chat for you. I pulled it out. Yeah, we have so much information. We drop, what would you say, 70% of it on the cutting room floor. There's just too much good stuff out there. We would have to have a 6-hour show every day to get through it.
Yeah, exactly. That's completely true. And you see me struggling with these links because there's literally so many links. I try and put them in order, and no, it doesn't work. Just doesn't work because sometimes they don't go in exact order, right? The conversation flows in different places. This is the Phys.org one, or no? What is this? Oh, sure. There it is. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay. No, the NASA conspiracy. All right, I did have it. I just okay. Anyway, you'll forgive me. Here we go. And action. Playing this.
My name is Donna Hare. During the 70s and 71, I worked in the Building 8 of NASA for a contractor, Philco Ford. They've changed their name several times, and over the years, I worked in the photo lab, I worked in different areas of the company, on and off site. During the 70s, I don't know the exact date, but I walked into the photo lab, one of the restricted areas. I do have I did have a secret clearance, which I was not aware at the time. There were clearances higher than I had. Because those clearances are supposed to be kept secret, that you have them. So I didn't know. I thought I had the top clearance. I walked into a restricted area, which was not my company. It was the NASA Photo Lab. And there they developed the film from the moon and satellite pictures, everything that's done by NASA.
Oh, what the hell was that? All right, we're gonna kill that because that music was hurting my ears. I thought I had like another hack. I thought it was Michael Strange. You hate the president? No. Okay, you're gonna keep playing this, Frank? That music is enough.
Yeah, I can find the timestamp if you want to talk a bit.
Okay, sure.
Go
I
to
can talk a bit.
1:30, and she gets to the good part, just for about a minute.
Okay. Oh no, we're right there. We're right at 1:30. Okay. I didn't expect there to be some bizarre, very extremely loud musical transition in the middle of this nice video. Okay, but let's continue, shall we? Action.
Absolutely.
there was no technology. We were creating it as we went along. This day, that particular day, I walked into the photo lab in the restricted area, and this was between missions. One of the gentlemen I had been friends with, and I still talk to occasionally, he pointed my attention to one area of this mosaic. It was one panel of a mosaic, which are several panels put together to form a larger picture. And these were either, I believe they were satellite pictures. I'm not sure. They were aerial, looking down. And I said, this is really interesting. He explained everything. And then he, with a smile on his face, he said, look over there. And I looked, and in one of the photo panels, I saw a round white dot. And at the time, it was very crisp, very sharp lines on it. And I said to him, what is that? Is that a dot on the emulsion? And then he's grinning, and he says, dots on the emulsion don't leave round shadows on the ground. And there was a round shadow at the right angle, at the correct angle, the sun shining on the trees. I saw pine trees. I didn't see a coastline. I don't know where this was. But I looked at him, and I was pretty startled because I'd worked out there several years and never seen anything like this, never heard of anything like this. And I said, is this a UFO? And he's smiling at me, and he says, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. What I knew he meant was, it was, but he couldn't tell me. So I said, what are you going to do with this information? And
Okay, so there's some sneaky business going on, and she's saying that he's this individual in the Photoshop department is covering up some sort of alien activity. Is that what we're talking about here?
Absolutely. And, we've seen this several times. If we look at the moon, we'll see stuff blurred out, stuff airbrushed over. If we look at Mars, we'll see the same thing, stuff blurred out, airbrushed, or just copy pasted. They'll copy and paste a picture of the texture of the moon's surface or Mars' surface, and they'll copy and paste that in repeating patterns over and over. And it's obvious. I'm sure all of you out there know that. But they do this kind of stuff. And this is incredibly important because when stuff slips through, when you get a little light shining off in the distance, when you have a shadow leaning over the rover, cleaning off its solar panels, remember that one, what does it suggest? It suggests there's a ton of activity on these planets. And what do we think? We think they're dead and lifeless.
Which doesn't seem to be the case at all. So this is, I don't know, is it segue time? Should I bring up Mars and methane? Or should we bring that up later? Because there's a lot of weird stuff going on Mars right now. Speaking of planets and activity of life, but yeah, maybe we'll pocket that and then bring it out a little bit later. This is okay. So this is the grand conspiracy, right? This is the one where folks like us, let's say, I don't want to label you guys. I don't want to label I'll say folks like me. All right, I wear a tinfoil hat, and so when you think of the grand conspiracies of humankind, right? Hiding the truth about extraterrestrial life kind of comes to the top when you think about grand conspiracies, right? So I'm talking about myself. So if you guys are here listening, you're safe. You're safe. I'm not pointing the finger at you, but you get what I'm saying. And so this individual here, what's her name? It was Donna, right? I'm trying to remember.
Donna Hare, a NASA contractor.
There you go. I was about to say Donna Dare, and that just sounded like a porn star. But all right, Donna Hare, and yeah, so like this is what she's not just implying. She's actually citing as an incident she had with the Photoshop department of NASA. And at the time, this is bizarre, a little bit weird that she mentioned she had a clearance and didn't realize she had one. I don't know. There's some weird stuff there, but.
She said it did make sense. She said she had a security clearance. She thought it was the top clearance. Apparently it wasn't. There was hidden security clearances above hers, and she wasn't authorized in all the buildings, even though she thought she was.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes a little more sense. Okay, so I'm with that. And again, never a straight answer, NASA. There's a reason they're called that, right? So, and so there's been, now for individuals like myself that wear a tinfoil cap, now, NASA, there's of course the side that we hear the media report on, but of course if there's a think about it in terms of the military-industrial complex. If you flip NASA on its head and look underneath what's actually happening, you got to realize just just knowing the amount of trillions of dollars that get blown on whatever, that NASA is some sort of military operation as well. So I think the NASA that we see is probably more of like a propaganda thing, and then the trillions that get blown on military space aspects might be, as if you want to take it as far as a secret space program, Frank. You want to say we have Marines on Mars? I don't know. I'm not sure how far to take it, but I think
I'll take it there.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll take it there because think about this, and this makes a perfect sickening sense if you're a student of history. So think about this. We want to colonize the moon. We want to colonize Mars, but they've got stuff up there. They've got bases. They've got ships, relics, historical relics, all this kind of stuff. They're just going to blow it up. If they can, they'll blow it up. They'll kill all the natives. And they've done that before, right? Because they've done that throughout history. When they moved people to Australia, they said those Aborigines, they're not really human. They're some kind of weird little short people. They're not really human. Don't worry about them. We can just clear them off the land, no problem. And I know you said we had a Native American listener, so pardon me if I offend you, but they said the same thing about North America too. Oh, these Native Americans, they're not really people. We can just kind of get rid of them. Same thing here, right? Same thing, repeating themes in history. Maybe they're going to do that to the moon and Mars. I don't know. And how would we ever learn about it? We wouldn't, because we can't go fly over there and see ourselves, much like we couldn't sail across the sea and see North America or Australia. It's not possible. So in my mind, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cleanse these planets for human habitation.
Yeah, that could be. That could very well be the case. A few more shout outs. We got Michael from Muskegon, Michigan. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for showing up. Who else? There's somebody else here. I missed somebody. Joshua, thanks for being here, man. Darwin. She's brave with a capital B. Donna Dare. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Donna Hare. Let's see. All right. I think, yeah. Mooch, what's up? Mooch. Your first name is Mooch, bro. That's amazing. All right. Yeah. Hello, Mooch. Thanks for being here. Yes. Darwin says loyal to the foil. Yeah, I guess. If you want to call me that, that's fine. I'm good with that. Rafa. What's happening, man? Thanks for being here. Aliens are real. My cousin had 2 different species of alien race, a green small one and one tall gray in Brazil when she was a child. I'm 100% serious. We're not making fun of you. That is lots of people have said similar things. So, yes, thank you for being here. Samantha, thanks for being here. And, hold on. JJ, yo. Sylvia, hello. It's Julian, hello from Texas. And there we go. I think, Sean says I missed Niku. I'm not sure who that is. So if I missed it, there we go. All right. So I think we're caught up. I think we're definitely caught up. So what do you think, Frank? Now, Donna Hare says that NASA is covering up evidence of extraterrestrial life, right?
Yep. That sounds about right.
Okay. And then so I guess the question is how deep? Is it little green men? Is it the tall grays? Like, what are we talking about here? Is it?
It could be some kind of. Remember Randy Kramer's testimony? Is he went to Mars to protect the human interest there, and what did he say? There were 7 different species. Some had technology, some didn't, and they were all scrapping on the planet, fighting with one another. And he was there to protect the human interests. So if you want to take it to the extreme, that's a good extreme to go to. That's what we're planning to do. Planning to get enough stuff in space so we can blast them all away, and Elon Musk can come in and settle the entire planet. I don't know. It's hard to think about. We always think that these aliens are so advanced, so technologically advanced, we couldn't do a thing to them. And that's this narrative Tom DeLonge and To the Stars is pushing. I don't necessarily buy that. Because if aliens are dumb enough to crash their spaceships into Roswell, New Mexico, and all these other places, they have flaws too. You got to keep that in mind. They have flaws too. I don't think they're as advanced as we think they are.
No, I think that's exactly, or at least we're advanced enough to maybe shoot them down, or some sort of military action going on there. I don't know. Like I said, I maintain this is. I'm going to stick with this one. If you fly through the cosmos to get here, and then when you get here you crash, you're a moron, right? You would figure that dodging all the crazy things out there. What did Han Solo say? Dodging supernovas, isn't like Dustin Crop's kid, something like that. I botched that, but still, you get my point, right? So getting through the dangers of space is one thing, but then you get here and you crash just seems silly. So there seems to be something else going on with that. And I'm going to stick to that until I see additional evidence otherwise. But yeah, okay. So All right. So there's life out there, right? Is that what we're saying, Frank? There's life.
I really want to, absolutely. Really want to hammer down this Photoshop cover up angle. So I've got a couple of pictures of the moon queued up here. Do you see those? Let's take a look at these because they do it in plain sight. You think this is a crazy topic. You think this is so conspiratorial. If you look closely, you'll see them covering up all the time. So do you see these two pictures of the moon? Why don't you pull them up?
Yeah, let's take a look. Pictures of the moon. Oh yeah, this is the duck business. Okay, here's one. Let's pull this one out. This is like a flat square somewhere in the middle of the thing here. Which of
exactly.
course, okay. So let me describe this. We're looking at what is obviously a photograph of the moon, the surface of the moon, as we are told it exists. Okay, you see the craters. It looks like just like the moon landing business where they were down there stomping around, hitting golf balls or whatever they were doing down there, right? But then somewhere, like right in the middle here, a little bit south of center, let's say, there's something that appears to be blurred out. like this is a not safe for work moon photo pic. You know what I mean? You catch me, Frank?
Yeah, this is a Japanese moon photo pic, if you catch me. But yeah, they do it in plain sight. They do it right in front of us, and these are early moon These are early moon photos too. That's why their sophistication, let's say, isn't as high as it could be. These were from ages ago. But yeah, something's blurred out there. The images around the side, they're perfect. And don't tell me it's a mosaic because this satellite's far enough back and this image is far enough zoomed in that it's not a mosaic. They blurred something out. It's clear as day. So you can find examples of this all over the place.
Exactly. And Philip on YouTube says, Frank is absolutely correct. You can find bases on Mars with Google Earth that they missed on cropping out. So there you go, right? So they've taken the liberty to blur some things out, and other things they leave bizarrely, oddly enough. Thanks for the comment, Philip. And yeah, this stuff is kind of true, right? And the more you look at it, like, okay, and this is the thing, right? You go down the rabbit hole, and you start looking at the moon, you look at Mars, and these types of things continually pop up. And how do they explain them? They say it's photo stitching, that the satellite takes, 750 pictures, and they stitch them together, and these are like weird little, what would you say, stitching anomalies in the panorama. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of evidence that suggests otherwise. Okay. So there's the first one. Here's the next one.
No. Let me jump in there as a brief segue. You have to realize that in order to get stitching happens when you take a picture of one thing, move the camera a bit, take a next picture, move the camera a bit, take the next picture, and you combine all those images together, right? That's how stitching happens. Now imagine you're in a spaceship or a satellite. You're not going to waste fuel to keep moving the camera around. It doesn't work like that. They get a wide angle view of the whole thing. They're not manipulating the satellite, spinning it on its axis to look at this and then look at that and then look at this. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Not in this instance for sure. This is certainly something blurred out, and instead we're looking at what might have been there, which could be what, right? So if you want to go out on a limb and speculate and strap the full tinfoil on, the whole gear, like down to the boots, like what is this? An opening, an entrance to an alien base, right? An entrance to an Earth base of our astronauts. Who knows, right? Like these are the types of things that make you scratch your head and stay up at night thinking, well, what the hell are they hiding from us then, right? I think that's probably the penultimate question here, and I don't know. If you guys know, the reason we do this live, and this is live, is you can call us and you can tell us. If you want to be on the show, call us, 702-957-1037. If you know what's under that blur in that photograph, call us and tell us. If you don't like the phone, I don't blame you. Jump on Discord, right? It's what all the kids are using these days. It's a chat program, and you can also do voice. That's how Frank and I do the show. Frank's on Discord with me right now, and that's how we do this. So you can get on Discord, go to troubleminds.org, click the Discord link. Phone number is on the top of that site as well. Give us a call. Get in here and let us know what's up. What are we missing, and what could be under this blur? I think that's the question here.
Let's pull up that second image, and can you play spot the blur? Because sometimes they hide it. It's a little bit tricky to see in this one, but it's there. So can you see it in this next one?
Okay, so let me zoom this in so everybody sees it as large as possible. And I will link this so they can actually see full screen. If you guys, again, it's important to us to, we talk about crazy stuff, right? Like, quote, crazy stuff. So we want to post the sources on where we get this information so you can follow up on this, because we're not just making this crap up. We're just not. All right, so let's spot the blur. I did post this if you guys want to check it out on full screen, but I do see it. So kind of over on the right side, there appears to be a blur from, there's maybe two, right? On the left and the right. Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to tell sometimes. They do it prolifically. It's all over the place. They're hiding stuff up there. Now, this one, I admit, could be a cropping thing, could be a stitching error, because it kind of seems that way. But anyway, the point is they're doing this all the time. And if you've trained your eye, and there's people on YouTube who make entire channels about this kind of stuff. If you've trained your eye, you can see it. You can see the photo manipulation. And later on in the show, we actually have some photo manipulating software to test some of these images. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it definitely is. Okay. And JJ, what's up, says, if they are organic, they have vulnerabilities. I like the way you think, man. He's like, how do we take them out? Okay. All right. There you go. So you're near and dear to Frank's heart, I'm sure. Frank has thought long and hard about that very thing. Okay. So
that brings me to mind of that preacher that we played on the show, right? Fighting the demons. That's the greatest calling these religious folks can have, is fighting the demons with nuclear fire.
Nuclear fire. Did he actually say that? I don't remember him saying that.
No, I put that in there.
Okay.
I added that little bit of color, but I could tell he was thinking.
No, he was totally thinking it. Okay. All right. So we got NASA blurring stuff. All right. So where's this leading us, Frank?
Let's open up this sciencealert.com. Oh, and we've got a gorgeous new crater spotted on the red planet, and it's one of the largest we've ever seen. So that's the headline. And this is a short news story, but you see, I'm trying to build a case here. You see, this is crater photograph. Do you see it? This is amazing. Look at this thing.
Yeah, I did see this. This was a few days back, and it does look colorful. so it brings to mind the guy at NASA doing the Photoshop. So how actually colorful is this? And it does look unique, right? So a regular impact crater would be more crater-like. And this seems to be more like like a pinprick. It's almost like there's a black hole in the surface of of Mars there, right? Like there's something definitely weird about this. But what are they saying about it?
Imagine you were at home and you're an amateur scientist. You're trying to train yourself like the backyard inventors or the garage inventors that built the world. You're trying to learn things about Mars, develop some technology, and you look at this stuff for inspiration. Oh, maybe that's water. Maybe that blue is water. So maybe this is a good landing site. Maybe we should do some, trying to use the information NASA provides to form the basis of some kind of career, employment, science, something. Well, let me read a couple of lines from this article and see if you can catch the thing that really stuck out to me. Remarkable for both its size and its impact waves, the black and blue mark stands out like a sore thumb. Would you agree with that?
It said waves. They said waves, like water waves?
Impact waves. So remarkable for both its size and impact waves, the black and blue mark stands out like a sore thumb. So you agree with that, right? Because it kind of does. You can see it standing out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, if this is the actual color of the thing and it hasn't been NASA photoshopped, then yeah, it does. It certainly stands out. Most of Mars is going to be reddish in hue, so they tell us. So this is blue. It does stand out. Yes, I agree.
But then what about this next line? The dramatic enhanced color scene shown below was captured using NASA's high-res camera. Did you catch that? Enhanced color scene.
Yeah, enhanced. The NASA Photoshop team has said we should make this blue so Science Alert can have some clickbait. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I said, so is this actually blue, or is this some sort of they detected something in the soil, the Martian soil, and they decided to shade it blue to somehow show us plebs what this actually means. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
It's impossible to tell. And that's the issue. It's impossible to tell. You cannot look at these photographs and see reality. There's no way. Because this camera, this NASA high-res camera, guess what? It's not a color camera. It's black and white. So likely what they saw here is whitish soil. They put the red color in. Then they saw darkish soil. They put that blue color in. This could be, the subterranean soil kind of being kicked up. Or it could be anything. You never know. And that's the issue with this whole thing.
Yeah, which is, again, standard and unfortunate. So what do you guys think? Is NASA trying to hide something from us? Or is this just artistic license? Do you think this is, I guess the question I want to ask is there anybody out there that listens to this that actually thinks altering the color of the images we get from maybe a black and white camera is innocent in some way, right? Where they think that they'll teach us something by altering the colors. Is there anybody out there that kind of thinks along those lines? Because we'd love to hear from you. If you think that's the case, let us know in the chat why, or call us. You know what to do. Go to troubleminds.org, phone number and the Discord on top. I won't read it again. I'll do it a little later, but it's there. Let us know. Do you think this is innocent, or do you think this is somehow nefarious and they're hiding maybe, who knows?
Pardon me for interrupting, but this got me fired up. Do you think it would be okay if your doctor took artistic license with your medical treatments? Do you think it would be okay if the government took artistic license with your taxes? Would that be okay?
Well, they kind of do, to be honest. But no, it's not okay. I agree with you 100%. It's not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and so you look at this kind of stuff, you're trying to see the truth. You're trying to learn about Mars, learn about space, because this is the next big industry, and they're lying to you. This is no better than a children's storybook. This is nothing you should pay attention to, nothing serious. Give me the black and white image, and that's it. It doesn't look as pretty, but that's how you learn. That's how you develop new technologies, is looking at the real information. This is a joke, and this pisses me off.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to a lot of the things they do, right? Like remember the first image of the black hole? Remember that? They're like, oh, that was a big deal, and we imaged the black hole, but then they basically said, we took like an entire whitewash of data, and then we made it look like what we think a black hole looks like based on the whitewash of data. So I think in that instance, we're looking at the same sort of stuff. We're looking at kids finger painting. That's what we're looking at, unfortunately. Yeah. Let me read this real quick. Dale says, I was really sick, bronchial, I think I said that right, pneumonia for a few years ago. Couldn't get out of bed. I had a light being show up at bedside and touched my chest, and I was well the next day. I had 2 bruises where she touched me for almost 2 months. Sorry to put you on the spot there, Dale, but that's a good one. I couldn't pass that up. That's, again, right? Like, how do you explain that? How do you explain this? How do you explain that? How do you explain all these things? I don't know. I think that's the problem, right? There's, for many things, and I think, again, the crux of the show, and the reason we do this, the reason we talk about, the reason we do long shows is because a lot of this stuff can't be explained. And I think as human beings, right, like our limited sensory perceptions, I think that we have to be okay not knowing some things. And again, the science and academia doesn't seem to think that, at least through the media lens. I think science itself, in a pure way, I think they probably believe that they don't know everything. But
I completely 100% disagree with that. If they stopped lying to us, if they stopped telling us, oh, there's no UFOs, it's all a lie, if they stopped false coloring these images, if they stopped hiding their information, maybe someone out there would figure it out. Maybe someone would put those puzzle pieces together and get to the answer behind the answer. And they're preventing that by putting all this bullshit and this fake imagery in our faces. You know, maybe maybe there have been stories through the ages of something very similar happening to Dale there, and they've covered it up. They've said, oh, you're a crazy person. You should belong in the nut house. And now no one talks about it. No one shares their stories. And then when he goes into it, because there's no background information for him to draw upon. So they do this kind of stuff on purpose to keep us stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's normal, right? That's par for education and history. You can only teach what you understand, and so you leave out all the things you don't, right? That's standard. That's normal, and you wouldn't expect like a third grade teacher trying to explain the intricacies of maybe a ghost from another dimension or from the afterlife you did to third graders. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay, like fine, leave it out, but don't act like it doesn't exist. I think that's the part that bothers me. What's up, Gilbert says that even if it is innocent, it shows a willingness and comfort with deception, and that's a fantastic point. So they're lying to us, just like Frank said, right? They're lying to us, and it's not comfortable at all. Darwin adds, if NASA is never a straight answer, why even bring up anything they provide? And I think that's important. That's an important question. And I think I'll let Frank take that one. I answered the last one. Go ahead, Frank.
I said it earlier, hinted at it earlier, and we'll get to some of this as the show goes on, but they leave stuff in sometimes. They're human. They slip up, and we got some of those stories coming up later on, but they leave stuff in the images, or their eyes glaze over, or they're too tired from all the photoshopping they have to do. And every once in a while, you'll get a glimpse of the truth. You'll see something that they probably don't want you to see. So we'll get to some of that as the show continues. And in fact, we have one right now if you want to get right to it. Why did NASA edit this photo? So play this YouTube clip, a minute and a half. It's quite a long one again. Share out the link afterwards. And you'll see someone looking at one of these NASA photos and trying to determine if they've manipulated it and what it could really be showing.
Okay, let's watch this action. Or sound on. Action.
Doing. So why would NASA alter these images? Well, there's a couple different reasons. One is they just like to keep us in the dark. Two is they need a strategic foothold in space. Every country that has the ability to get into space has one mission, and that one mission is to gain superiority above our planet. So what we're looking at is basically standing or running water inside a riverbed that runs at the bottom of Mount Sharp. It's obvious when you look at it, they basically did some selective color altering to get a brownish color, take the blues out. So we're going to go ahead and attempt to put a little of those back in. Grabbing the wand tool in Photoshop, I'm able to click on a particular area, and then everything within that color range is going to be connected, such as this riverbed. And keep in mind that I just made one click and I was able to fill this entire riverbed up with water. So if you look above this line, you're not going to see any of the blue. Everything's below it. And if we give it a little opacity to make it look a little more like water, we can see the small rocks, river rocks, throughout the back of the river, and then the larger rocks that are dry on top. And you can even see the reflections up underneath the rocks.
I'm going to mute it but keep it rolling here so you can kind of see what he's doing. But that's amazing. Like, there you go. That's what a Martian river would have looked like, right? Assuming Martian water is blue.
Can you actually go back to 1 minute, 15 seconds and full screen that video? Because I want to point something out that I just noticed. And we should all be able to pick it up after what we've just seen. But go back to 1 minute, 15 if you can. And can you spot the blur? Because there's a blur in there.
Okay, it's paused at 1:15. Oh, wait, why is it still running? Let's not keep running. All right, 1:15 right there. All right, paused. We're gonna spot the blur. I did link this if you guys want to check it out yourself. And let's see, where is the blur? Where is the blur? I don't see the blur, Frank. Help me, buddy.
Yeah, we won't play this game live on air, but in the very center of the screen, the bottom third, you see that big rock, that big roundish rock.
Yes, which side? Which side? Left side?
So in the center of the screen, in the very center, bottom third, center, bottom third, there's that big rock, that big, huge honking rock.
Yeah.
Look to the right of that.
Looks like
it's
a big
blurred
crab.
to the right of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
you see that?
Yep, I see that. Right there. It's actually a little bit of a blur that it almost looks like a puddle of water even without the color enhancement that the guy does with the blue there. Yeah, I think you may be right.
Yeah, exactly. So answering that question again is they leave stuff in and people can go back and kind of retract these details. Now, he may have been a little bit fanciful putting that much water in, but that blur that we just pointed out, maybe that's a deep spot. That's a spot that's just a little bit deeper, so it's containing a pool of water. And now they had to blur it out to get there. You can see it as plain as day. If you've been looking at these images for a while, you kind of train your brain to see it, but they've definitely blurred something out in this image. And I went back to the source. I found the source of this image. We can pull that up in a second. And yeah, it's there. It's there right in front of us. So this is a huge issue. They're covering stuff up. Now, again, you can go to the Randy Kramer extreme and say, well, there's aliens fighting over that water source, and maybe there's one over there drinking it, and they blurred him out too. Or you can go to the modest extreme and say there's a civilization there at one time. There no longer is, So it depends how you want to take it. But there's something going on here, something more than they're telling us.
Yeah, and so you would expect, right, if they're going to do that, they would at least give us fake images and not maybe real images and try and manipulate them, because there are smart people out there that can spot manipulated images. So, yeah. What's up, Todd? Thanks for showing up. I see you there. Lurking. What's up? All right, so, all right. So then you said there's an actual image of this that you scouted out?
Yeah, open up the photoforensics.com website, and I've queued this in. So this is the image, and this is if you run it through an error level analysis. And what that does is see if they've manipulated anything, see if they've changed it around a bit. And you're looking for the pixels. So when the pixels get all bright and colorful, that's an error level analysis. They've saved and resaved the photo so many times that these errors start emphasizing themselves. I think that's to the best of my understanding anyway. And you see, there's some, especially in that hill in the back left, you see how bright and colorful those pixels are, the hill in the back left corner? So they've edited some hill that looks arid with like the trees and not the trees, but those things that look like shrubs. They've done something to that. Do you see that color change, that bright pixelated color?
Well, in the back left top, what we're talking about?
Yeah, that hill that kind of stretches over top back left.
Yeah, so it does seem to be smoothed out in the top frame here. So this is a pretty cool site, guys. Check it out. I did link it if you want to have a look, so you can actually hover over it and have it go purple and do the image enhancement or whatever the hell's going on here. And yeah, you do see there's some sort of a like black maybe something going on here. I see what you're saying. It's like a bright purple on top, right? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, so again, this error level analysis, what happens is they save the photo over and over and over again, and it makes errors. And detecting these errors, they appear as bright pixels. So you can tell there's been a little bit of fuckery, let's say, with this image, pardon my language, by doing an error level analysis on the photograph. And it's pretty good. You know, if you do a regular Photoshop that someone would do at home, it's more emphasized, but people do this all over the internet. So there's tools out there that we can use to look at these images. I thought this was pretty neat.
It is pretty cool. Okay, so this top part right here is what we're looking at on the left side top. Again, I linked it if you guys want to check it out. And when you hover off of it, if you look at it in the actual like a Martian landscape, so to speak, it looks very much like a desert would be on Earth, right? It's not really reddish. It's very very sandy and very Earth-like. And so when you do the hover over, that seems to be the purple part. The at least from what I understand, the most edited something going on there. So I wonder. A little bit weird.
Yeah, definitely. Let's keep going. So let's look at we've referenced this image time and time again, but let's look at the spoon image again. And it's just as proof they're hiding stuff, proof that they miss things. They're human too. So the reason why we look at this is because every once in a while they'll let something slip through. So I don't know if can you pull open the spoon image? I'm not sure what the link is, but I put it in here.
Yep, already got it. Here it is. If you guys
That's a
check
spoon.
It out.
That's a spoon. It's on Mars. It fits the right size. So people have done, looked at the field of view of the rover, looked at how far the image was taken away. There's a spoon. It's more like a stirring spoon, a big wooden spoon type deal, but there's a spoon on Mars. Like, what are you going to tell me? That's not a spoon? That's definitely a spoon.
Frank, that's not a spoon. That's a pareidolia, Frank. Come on. You're seeing things, Frank. That's not a spoon. Come on. Are you really telling me some Martian kid 1,000 years ago or 1,000,000 years ago was eating out of that spoon? Come on, Frank. Let's be real, man.
Yeah, I am telling you that. That's exactly what happened. And it might have been not 1,000,000 years ago, maybe 2,000, 5,000. Who knows? How could you possibly tell? How could you ever figure out the timeline with all the Photoshop and cover up they're doing? There's no way. But to me, that looks like a spoon.
It does look like a spoon. I don't think you can contest that at all. What's up? Rafa says, "Holy shit, spoon!" Yeah, that's a spoon, right? And again, if that's a Martian rock, that's a hell of a erosion pattern, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. This is one we've looked at a couple times before, but every time I see it, I kind of go, really? Are we? I don't know. So it kind of makes me. I think the thing that I like most about this image is like what's the thing next to it, all right? So there's a spoon there, all right? Let's call it a spoon. So what is around it, right? So you would expect that if this is some sort of a habitation, right, an archaeological site, so to speak, that there would be other things near it, right? So that whatever that thing is close by, I don't know, it kind of looks like a vertebrate, right? Like a vertebrae, or maybe it was like a dinosaur spoon. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm being stupid, but it definitely is. It makes you raise your eyebrows, right? It's one of those situations where they what can they tell you? What do they tell you about this? Is it pareidolia, Frank?
No, you covered that show when I was away, but remember that Star Trek or that topic when I was away, but you remember that Star Trek logo they saw on Mars. They don't tell you jack, right? Unless you're a celebrity, you're William Shatner, you're that basketball player thought the earth was flat. Unless you're a celebrity, you can't tweet NASA and say, what the hell is this? They'll never respond. I mean, you could do it. They'd probably block you, but you can't ask these questions. There's no way. They'll never tell you. They'll never clarify it. They'll never have a scientist come on some TV show and, provide the measurements of a typical spoon and then provide the measurements of this and say, well, actually, this is 25% larger than a spoon, so it's probably not one. They'll never do that kind of thing unless you're famous. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know either. This is, again, what is it? Is it spoon, guys? Are we crazy? Are we crazy here? Darwin says NASA photoshopped a spoon into the image. Okay. There we go. Kendrick, what's up? Thanks for being here. Says, I want to hear personal encounters. There you go. If anybody has personal encounters for Kendrick, call us. 702-957-1037. This is live. It is Tuesday night. If you're listening right now, in some places, some parts of the world, I guess it would be Wednesday in the early hours. So, yeah, it is live. So 702-957-1037. That's a Las Vegas area code. But if you don't like area codes or phones or any of that old school business, join the Discord. You can find Discord on troubledminds.org as well as the phone number. Get in here and tell us what you think. Are we crazy? Are we on to something? Are we just somewhere in between? We're floating in limbo somewhere in between. You have no idea. But let us know. Let us know. Good stuff. Appreciate the comments. Keep them coming, guys. Sherry says cereal bowl. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, right? You see the spoon, so there should be like a bowl. You know what I mean? But maybe, what if you dig 6 inches down? There might be a bowl. I think that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. Let's see. What else? Let's see.
Well, pardon me, but the crazy part is there could be an entire kitchenette set sitting right beside that thing, but they've photoshopped it out. So you can't tell. You can never look at that image and get any truth out of it. The only thing you can reasonably conclude, responsibly conclude, is that there's something strange going on here. There's an anomaly. But yeah, you could have a little Martian kid sitting by eating some cereal and a little oven over to the side and a whole house around him, and they've photoshopped the entire thing out. So you never know. You can never truly be sure.
Yeah, and so I guess that's the point here. Humans make mistakes, and here we are looking at a spoon, an ancient Mars spoon. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? I'm with you, and that it's unfortunate that the transparency level is such that we have to question things like this. Because I mean, of course, it's possible that it's not a spoon, right? But it sure as hell looks like a spoon. Yeah.
Explain it then. Say this is connected to the rock. You can see it's connected to the rock because of the erosion pattern, and this is how it happens on Earth. And here's some other examples that support this theory, but explain it. And they never do.
Yeah, they never do. Exactly. Okay, so Sherry says the shadows are odd to me. It does look a little bit weird, right? Like I said, every time I look at this, my eye is kind of drawn to that. You're right, that shadow mark right there, kind of on the right side of the spoon. And then whatever this thing is, it seems to not be a rock, right? There's like a nice carved out portion of it with a shadow underneath. It almost appears like it might be I don't know, like a kitchen utensil, like Frank was saying. Darwin, what days do you broadcast out? We do Thursdays and Sundays, but you wouldn't know it because it's Tuesday. So the best way to know is to follow us on Twitter, or which is at Troubled Minds R. You can find us there, or you can go to Discord, because every single time we go live, without fail, we put out a at everybody on Discord. So if you're shy and don't want to talk to us, that's fine. But join the Discord and you will never miss us, because they cannot censor our Discord. They can shadow ban our Twitter. They can take us off YouTube. They can shadow ban our Facebook so you guys don't get notifications. But they cannot, as of this moment, as far as I'm aware, or at least they're not interested in doing it, shadow ban our Discord. So that's probably the best way. Follow Twitter, follow Discord, follow us in all the places, and you won't miss us. Yeah, all right. So what do you guys think? So we're kind of waiting to see what you think. Like, again, this is important, because if you think we're full of shit, that's no problem, right? I've been wrong once, I'll be wrong again, and I expect to be wrong many more hundreds or thousands of times in my life. It's fine. Like, it doesn't hurt my feelings. So if you want to tell us that we're tripping and there's blah, 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 or tell us, hey, this is an alien spoon and there's a bowl next to it, whatever. We're open to all of that, and that's why we do this live. We want to hear from you guys, so give us a call. Go to troubledminds.org, phone number's on the top, and the Discord link, and you can get on the phone either way. or get on the show either way. Eric, what's up? Says, where are green men from? That's a good question. I'll let the chat handle that. Let's see. Darwin says definitely could be a spoon, or definitely a spoon. yeah. And then Timothy says, think 3D. Remember the sand covers part of it, so he's kind of describing it as a column of sorts. Like maybe it's maybe a wall or something, right? I think that's what we're looking at. Imagine the spoon, but on the handle part kind of goes down in a straight line, 3D style. That would be some sort of wall, right? Okay, and let's see what else. Try spinning the photo around. I'm not that talented, at least not live on a stream. And Eric wants to know again, where are green men from? I think that's the second time he asked. I think it's the second time, right? Would somebody answer this guy? Where are green men from? What's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy? Hey, if you think we're full of shit, man, we're here for you. That's why we do this, so you can call us and tell us we're full of shit. So if you're here trolling, no problem. We're here. What's up, Kelly? Thanks for showing up. And Pierre wants to know why green. It's kind of like the old man, like what would you say? The moon is made of Swiss cheese type of thing. It's like the old 50s or 60s, right? Little green men. It's they're not obviously green. Come on. Okay, but anyway, let's carry on here. Frank, anything else on this?
No, let's keep going. We're kind of spending too long on this. Let's go to the rodent picture. We've showed this before too. And again, I'm just trying to make the point that we saw them admitting to Photoshop. We've seen examples of their Photoshop. And now when we see these anomalous things, we're left wondering, is this real? Is this fake? Did they purposely put this rodent in the photograph? But looking at this thing, there's a rodent, right? Look at it. Do you see it? Has a little beady eye. It's got an ear. It's got its legs sticking forward. Do you see this picture? That is a rodent on the surface of Mars captured by a rover.
Yeah, it definitely looks like some sort of rodent, right? Now the thing that drives me nuts is if this thing's alive, right? They would at least have some image or some video or like, right? If it was there and then it wasn't there, it moved or it didn't move.
It did. So that's the second part of the story, is that when the rover came back and took a second image of this area, and people lined up the rocks, they looked at that bluish rock and the big rock in the back. They lined up the rocks so that they knew the picture was taken from the same place. And that, whatever that was, it wasn't there anymore. It was completely gone. But yeah, do you expect NASA to tell us that? Do you really think they're going to take a video of this little creature and put it on YouTube? Fuck no, they aren't.
No, of course not. All right, what's up? All right, so we got the question here. We got some good answers. Okay. What's a green man, right? Kelly says green kids come from the inner Earth. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. Darwin says green men are from here. They just left humanity behind. Let's see. Eric says I did have an experience of seeing green men. Well, tell us if you know what they are. Tell us. Bill says Zeta Reticuli. Okay, there we go. Todd says it's Earth, not Mars. So back to that theory, right? So this is actually somewhere in Canada, right? It's like we actually didn't get into space.
Devon Island in northern Canada, I believe, is the theory. And yeah, we're not going to cover that this time, but you can look that up, and we've done shows on it in the past. The point is, never a straight answer. Give us some answers. Why can't I hop on my Twitter right now, send this photograph to NASA and say, hey, NASA, what's this? Why can't I do that? There's no reason I shouldn't be able to do that.
You can do that.
Well, they'll never answer me is the point. They'll never answer me. And I don't even use Twitter, so there you go. But the point is, there's weird stuff. Now, I got one more image here. Let's move on to that real quick. This is the bigger one. Do you see that? Let's pull that up.
Yeah, bigger of what?
Of Mars. Oh. This larger image of Mars.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yep. Like the rocks and whatnot?
Yeah, the rocks. So do you see anything strange about this picture? Anything odd about this picture? Anything that catches your attention immediately?
Yeah, there appears to be what you would call an actual like stitching seam, kind of on the off-center right side. Is that what I'm looking at? There seems to be a thread from top to bottom on this photograph. Here, I'm going to link this so you guys can check it out yourself on a full screen later if you can't do it right now. But here we go. Is that what I'm looking at?
No. Well, that's there, sure. But what's in the top right corner? Very top right corner. Do you see that? What the heck is that?
Top right corner. What am I looking for? I have no idea. Explain, Frank.
Maybe you can zoom in it. You see in the very top, on the right-hand side, you see that stone that has patterns carved into it. It's got a hole on the left-hand side. It looks like something sockets into there. That's not an erosion pattern. Give me a break. It's got a little square carved into it. It's got lines heading in opposite directions. If you're not aware, and you can see that actually here in these other rocks, erosion patterns happen in a single direction due to the wind, right? It doesn't change directions. Here we've got little lines going perpendicular to the other lines of this thing. I don't know what this is. Again, it's almost impossible to tell, but it shouldn't be there. Or if it's just a normal rock, tweet NASA and let's hear about it, but they'll never do that.
Yeah, okay, so I'm with you. I see it now. So in my defense, when I pulled it up, it was scrolled down, and that was off the frame. I was looking for something that wasn't there. So I scroll up, and you guys can see it here on the top, very, very top. I did link it if you want to check it out, but it does. It looks almost mechanical, right? So it does look like Timothy said here, he says it looks like a debris field. And so, yeah, what is all this stuff? Is this actual rock? Or you would expect, right? This is the bizarre part, and that's a great point. That when you look at this stuff, you see a lot of these rocks are very angular, right? They're very, like you would expect some sort of erosion patterns if there was, millions of years ago there was water and there was wind and there was atmosphere and there was all the things on Earth, right? Like these rocks don't end up in these huge, like, angular patterns, right? They would appear more rounded, right? So there are parts of the world where you go and see like these rock type formations, but they're not common, right? You don't go down to out in the desert here in Vegas, for instance, and you just see these bizarre shaped rocks. Like this one here that I'm hovering over looks like an anvil, right? Like they're shaped oddly, right, Frank? Like look at them standing up, kind of leaning against each other. It does kind of look like a debris field. That's a great point there, Timothy. Appreciate that. What else? We got Dale says Frank's tripping. Yes, okay. We somebody asked, is the phone line up? Yes, call us. 702-957-1037. Call us. Go to troubleminds.org. That's the official website. You can find the phone line on the top. That's the phone number. And you can also get on Discord and be on the show that way. So we are, again, this is live. We do it live. Remember, you guys remember this. We could record this, Frank and I, on Discord, edit it perfectly, and release it, right? But we don't do that because we think it's bullshit. We think a lot of people hide behind that. We think the politicians hide behind that. We think NASA and all the government agencies hide behind that. They don't allow transparency. If we're wrong, so be it, right? And so what's the issue with the government? Why are they so afraid of being wrong? Makes you wonder, right? Why are they so afraid of being questioned and maybe being wrong? Okay, so anyway. All right, so I got you. It does look like some kind of gear, some kind of ancient something. Yeah, I'm with you, Frank. I missed it at first because it wasn't there, but now I got it.
Yeah, absolutely. In plain day, in front of us, you see these things and we'll never get an explanation. Now, let's go to the current day. Actually, let me take a step back. Live air, I missed the point I was trying to make. We could do this for hours upon hours upon hours. This isn't even a drop in the bucket of the weird stuff. And you know that. This isn't even a percentage of the weird stuff. These pictures we've shown, we've only shown 3 or 4 now. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of pictures with the weird stuff in them. So it's not, me tripping out. It's not these people making stuff up on YouTube. This is all over the place. And so we're even seeing this now in the current day. I'm going to give you a new link because this link's better. Why don't you pull this up about the mysterious light they saw on the surface of Mars? There you go. I posted it in there. But this image, this is equally compelling. Remember that rodent photograph? Rover takes an image of the rodent, comes back around for a second pass. That rodent is no longer there. Well, a very similar thing happened just recently. If you see this news story, a mysterious light was photographed by the Curiosity rover on Mars. And so you can see this image. Why don't you tell me what you think about it? A white light appearing right there in front of you.
Okay, so this is actually not even, this one is new, but so this is check it out, the date's right there. This is the NewYorkPost.com, June 24th, 2019. This is brand freaking new. Except, I swear to you, we did this same exact thing 6 months ago, right? I swear to you, this is not the first time. So I did link it. Did I link it? Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm gonna link it. If you guys want to check it out, full screen, and you can see it yourself. There's some sort of this keeps happening, right? This keeps happening. Let's blow it up. So up there on the left side, you can see what appears to be some sort of like geyser, right? Like some sort of energy something going on. Like this almost looks like something out of Star Wars, right? Like it's a Tatooine, and you got the moisture evaporator back there, like firing something in the air. I don't know, like what's going on, right? But this is not the first time this has been spotted. Anomalous stuff on Mars, and particularly this, like some sort of like, what do you call it, like light geyser? What is that? I don't know. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, we've done this a couple of times. Glowing figures on the surface of Mars is, I think, the one you were referring to before. It was looked like a humanoid figure glowing with an aura, like some kind of angel or something, to put the image in your mind. And yeah, we've got a couple more we'll pull up, but that's amazing. Look, there's something there. They say it's the glint of a light off a meteorite or some such thing. I don't know if I buy that. That's a lazy explanation if I've ever heard one, because I looked into this. Let's read the news story to get this more information. So they say here, wait a minute. I didn't even realize they pulled one over. In December 2018, Curiosity detected a shiny object that may be a meteorite. And they said it's likely an effect of the sun. Images with effects like this are seen pretty routinely. So that was their explanation. But that was in December 2018. There's no explanation for this newer one. Now, do you have this news story open? There's a link on here I want you to click. It's unclear exactly what the white spot on the photograph is, as images taken almost immediately before and after do not show this mysterious white light. So the same thing with a rodent is it gets the picture, few frames later, takes another picture, no light. It's gone. So what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. So, okay, I did click that, and it took us to this, and I did link it so you guys can check it out. But if you want to go back to the New York Post article, it's right here. Scroll down to about the middle-ish, right there. It's unclear exactly what the white spot in the photograph is. The images are taken almost immediately after. You click that, and you get this. And, yeah, I don't see that. There's nothing on the horizon here that has any sort of light. So is this a camera anomaly, right? Which would be the easy, lazy explanation, just like you said. Or is there something going on Mars? Right? Like again, back to the 1950s and comic books of aliens invading and Martians invading. Yeah, what the hell's going on up there? Methane on Mars. There's a lot of stuff that's happening that's okay. And think about this, guys. This is the crazy part. If you pay attention to any of this stuff whatsoever, you will have noticed in the past, what do you say, Frank, 6 weeks? It's like they put the foot on the gas, and they're talking like a ton in the mainstream media even about UFOs, about now methane on Mars, about all these things, right? It seems like there's like this is not a coincidence. It's like kind of like somebody said to me previously, it's like they're preparing us for something, right? It almost seems that way.
Okay, yeah, I think there's something strange going on. More than ever before, we're seeing it in the news, and they have something planned. Now, I want to make a retraction, actually, because this article clickbaited me. This made me look like an idiot. That image in their thumbnail, do you see the image with the red circle? Is that the one you showed on the stream? Is that light inside the red circle?
Yes, sir.
That's actually not the image. So go back to that news story. The black and white raw image was taken by the rover's right nav cam. Click on that link and you'll see the new image. That image that we just showed, that was an old image, another light on Mars. But click on that, the black and white raw image hyperlinked, and you'll see the real thing.
I did, and you'll like this. It's coming up as a blank page. Oh, there we go. Is that it? Oh, I see. Okay. What the hell is that? What the hell is that?
So now, click back and forth between the one that was taken a few seconds later and that. Do you see? So you can click back and forth and really see the difference between the two of them.
Okay, so you see the actual whatever that is it no longer appears to be something that's maybe shooting out like a geyser effect. It actually maybe appears like it's hovering above the ground there, right? Like it's like maybe some sort of craft. Hey, it's a Tic Tac UFO. Call Tom DeLonge. Oh shit! Yeah. I don't know. I think. So what's the point here, right? The bottom line for all of this stuff is: can you trust NASA?
Is there? No, of course not. Of course we can't. Explain this. They said it was a glowing light off a rock. Give me a break. That's not a light. That's not a reflection. Because if you click on the same, again, I want you to do this in the stream to really prove the point. If you click on those two images, what was the time? So the first one was taken at 53 minutes and 59 seconds. The second one was taken, let me see here, at 46 seconds. So I can't do math on air. Please forgive me. But 11 seconds earlier, that was the time between these two images. 11 seconds earlier, no glint. Then 11 seconds goes by, and there's that light. Give me a break. Reflections don't change that fast. That's complete bullshit. If there was a reflection there, it would be there 11 seconds later until the sun moved enough that the reflection pattern changed. Do you get the point I'm trying to make?
Yeah, definitely. So again, go to this article and you guys can click on it yourself and see. Oops, that's the wrong one. But you go back and forth and you see on the right side here, there's the actual, whatever this is, this light thing that appears, that it even appears to be hovering. And you click back and forth between the one image and the next, which is apparently the exact same landscape, right? Except there's a light floating. There we go. Darwin wants to know, as much as I like Troubled Minds, thank you for saying that, how TF are you still on Facebook? I'll tell you why. You got a theory, Frank? I got a theory.
Yeah, we're flying under the radar now. As soon as we get a few if you really want to take us off the air, let me tell you this. Here's a strategy. If you're out there listening and you want to troll us, you want to get us banned, all you got to do is share this link to your friends. Because as soon as we hit 200, 300 people, that's it. We're done. I guarantee it. And maybe we'll survive on YouTube or Twitch or somewhere else. But yeah, that's the reason we're not, is because we're flying under the radar so far.
Yeah, there you go. My theory is that they want to compete with YouTube so bad that they haven't started banning video content yet. So technically, this is a live stream type / video content. And so once they get their achieved market, their goal, whatever their goal is on their market share of video views, then they'll start paring down, right? Then they'll start, because then they can say to the media, well, we have these guys on our platform that are, saying all these ridiculous things, and, we think that they shouldn't be there, so we're going to start with Troubled Minds. or whoever else, right? Like whoever's actually saying the Z word that's not zebra. Like that's probably who they'll start with. And then after that, then they'll go to Troubled Minds after that. Because we avoid things like that. We try to be smart about it and maybe fly under that radar. But, maybe Frank's right. Maybe, cross your fingers, we can be smart enough and fly under that radar. But I doubt it. Because the algorithms are out there scanning 24/7. Let's see what else. We got some more comments here. Okay, let's should we move on from this, Frank? What do you think?
I got one more story, then we'll get to the point. We'll get to the point I was building to this entire time. Open up liveabout.com, the most mysterious anomalies of Mars, and we'll scroll through this real quick. Pull this link open. Martian trees and shrubs. Yeah, look at that photograph. If that were taken on a satellite over the Sahara Desert, let's say, or over some desert, those would be shrubs and trees. But because it was taken on Mars, but the Mars Global Surveyor, well, that's not trees. Those aren't shrubs. Those are nothing. Do you see this?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Don't worry. I'll get there. Try and find it. Keep in mind I have dozens of links here. Try and find it. What's the
okay,
website?
I posted the link in the other thing for you there so you can pull it up quicker. But yeah, there you go. Martian trees and shrubs. And they show a few examples of this. 1, 2, 3 examples. All of things that look like trees on the surface of Mars. Now, go back to that YouTube clip we played a bit earlier, or think back to it. If there really is standing water on Mars, as that guy in the YouTube Photoshop kind of tutorial thing was trying to tell us, if there's really standing water on Mars, of course you'd see trees. Of course you'd see shrubs. Of course you would. So this makes perfect sense when you start putting these pieces together. Do you see these images?
Yeah, I do. So it does look very much like you would expect to see on Earth, right? Like there's trees or shrubs or some kind of actual, like this is actually what you I think my memory's going back to Mordor, the shadow, where the shadows lie. Like this very much looks like a Middle Earth map, right? Like is this right? Let's zoom that in. Like right, so that you got the up here on the top right would be Mordor, and then you got this is the Mirkwood Forest or something going on. And it looks very much like that, like a very shrubbery, yeah, like trees and stuff. That's crazy, man. I haven't seen these before. Is this new? This must be new. Oh yeah, 2019, updated May 24th, 2019. No wonder I haven't seen these. This is crazy. I did link it if you guys want to check it out. Holy smokes.
Yeah, and there's quite a few examples on this page. It's definitely worth looking at. This is a great article. And yeah, you'll see glass tubes. They put some of those in there. A port apparently there's an ocean port on Mars. This guy is saying a tower, a valley of boulders, pyramids. We all know that. A star city, a riverbed, golf ball crater. Oh, that's a weird. Scroll down to that one. The golf ball crater. What the heck is that? That looks like a golf ball stuck in the sand in a sand trap.
They did hit the golf ball on the moon apparently, but let's see. There's a star city. What was that? Mars River. Oh, no, I gotta hit the continue reading. There's the golf. Golf. No, get out of here. There you go. There's a golf ball crater on Mars. Yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't know where this came from. This is credited to NASA. So I think I'm gonna change my all my social media profiles to this picture. This is really good. That looks like a golf ball on Mars, for crying out loud. What do you guys think? All right, so I did link it, and if you want to get to this, click the little read more, because that's how they do the interwebs these days. But yeah, I'm with you, Frank. There's some wacky stuff out there, and again, without actually being there, without sending Elon Musk and getting some actual private enterprise into this business, all we have is the veil of the government, unfortunately. And yeah. I don't know.
So everything up to this point, you were not allowed to know. You were not allowed to think about. And if you talked about this in public, they would call you crazy. Would you agree with that? Everything we've covered up to this point, you can't talk about this, or you're a crazy person. They're going to lock you up and throw away the key.
Yeah, you're a crazy person. Todd wants to add, Todd, our top fan, by the way, the very first kind of stream, this show will never get banned because you don't back up the subjects you talk about. Thanks, Todd. We love you too. Holy shit. All right, so we got, all right. So I'm over the Mars, Frank. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's go to, well, no, we can't move on because we got to talk about the thing we've been talking about this entire time, methane spikes on Mars. And we can move through this pretty quick, but open up unexplainedmysteries.com. There's a video. Let's play that, 40 seconds long. But basically, they've been discovering methane spikes. So previously, they had discovered very slow fluctuating methane levels over time, where the concentrations would rise and slowly fall. And that's suggestive of some kind of life there. During the summer, the life starts up, produces this methane. Then during the winter, it slows down and the methane kind of fades away and degrades. But now they're discovering sharp, unexpected spikes. So play this video and let's see what they have to say about it.
What was the site again? Oh, this was Unexplained Mysteries, right?
Yep.
Okay. I got it. Look at that. I got one. All right, action.
According to a report by Gizmodo, NASA's Curiosity rover has discovered startling high amounts of methane in the Martian air, in what could potentially be a sign of life on the red planet. On Saturday, the New York Times reported that the detection of methane would be a major discovery, as it breaks down within a few centuries, meaning that it would have had to have been generated quite recently in historical terms. Gizmodo reports that high levels of methane could potentially be generated underground by microbes called methanogens that survive without oxygen and produce the gas as a metabolic byproduct.
Okay, that was smarter than me. What was she saying there?
They're saying there's life on Mars.
Oh.
They're saying at the very least, there's bacteria producing these sharp spikes of methane. And if you take it to the conspiratorial extreme, there's things there. There's macroorganisms like those trees, or like Randy Kramer might say, like some people fighting over land rights.
Okay, so I think at some point, I don't even know, maybe 8 months ago, I stuck my opinion in the sand and said, I'm calling it right now. Michael Strange says there's life on Mars. And I think it was when this methane thing first popped up. And so there's two ways there could be methane on Mars, right? One is going to be life, and the other is some sort of a geological water action with rocks. Is that the other, right? As far as I understand, those are the only two things that can be causing methane on Mars. And they come in waves, seasonal. So seasonally, just like you would expect, right? Like a harvest season and growth season and, these types of things. Just like on Earth, there seems to be a seasonal methane. Something going on Mars, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm calling for life. I think it's life. Well, what life that we expect? Obviously not. the type of life, obviously not. There's not going to be, people walking around on Mars, I don't think. But there's life there. I think there's life there.
Essentially, that's what they admitted in that story, is that the only way to get these sharp spikes. Now, again, remember, you just said it, very slow changes in temperature over time will cause these fluctuations if there's frozen methane under the ground. That's perfectly fine. But to get a sharp spike, localized to certain areas too, keep that in mind, it very highly suggests life, some kind of microbe organism living in the soil, living in these pools of water. You never know. Now, talking about pools of water, right? Let's pull open the second link and then we'll be done with it. Space.com, salt-tolerant microbes, life on Mars. So in this story, they essentially say that in extraordinary salty puddles of water, the ones you might find on Mars, what? Wait a minute, we've never heard that before. Salty puddles of water on Mars, bacteria can survive getting completely dried out, and then they'll rehydrate and come back to life. And they go on and on here and explain that. But essentially, they say there might be salty puddles of water on Mars that bacteria are thriving in. And due to seasonal fluctuations, these things may slow down, go into stasis or fall asleep, so to speak, and then kind of reinvigorate, come back to life and produce these methane spikes. But there you go. I've never heard that before, that there were pools of water on Mars, and they're saying it right here in front of us.
Yeah, so salt and cold, and then you think of it here on Earth, right? Like put it in some sort of context, and you have the spring comes and things come out of their stasis and they start growing, they start flourishing. The bunnies start humping, right? It's like the same type of cyclical thing that's happening here on Earth, except the only way we have to measure it at this point, at least from these sources here. And again, Todd, if you want all the sources, I'm pretty nearly certain you haven't clicked all the links we put up here because there's tons of sources. But they're telling us that we detect this fluctuation of methane on Mars, and it's one of two things. Again, it's the rocks in the water, or it's life. And so the seasonal change kind of to me says it's life, right? I'm not sure how you can explain it any other way. So yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. So again, now there's salt water on Mars, right? This is the point here.
Yeah, remember that standing pools of salt water on Mars is what they're saying here. So they do some tests, they replicate these pools they think might exist, they put some bacteria in them, and then dry them out, and then rehydrate them, they come back to life. They've done those experiments, so they know it's possible. But to me, this is, especially with those localized spikes in methane confined to a local area, that's a confirmation. So I'm pretty sure the narrative now is there is microbial life on Mars. And you're like, oh, who cares? It's microbes. Who cares? Think about this. 50 years ago, Mars was a dry, dusty, red planet. No water, no life, nothing at all. Move forward in time a little bit. All of a sudden, we've got ice on Mars. Yeah, there's some ice at the poles. Yeah, okay. And then move forward a little bit more. There's ice no longer at the poles. It's all over the place in those craters. We've shown some of those on the show before with ice in them. Then move forward a little bit more. Now we've got water, flowing liquid water on Mars. Move forward to the present day. Now we have bacteria on Mars. So what, 5 years from now? Well, yeah, there's some shrubbery on Mars. There's some trees here and there. Yeah, okay. Move forward another 5 years. Yeah, there's some little rodent creatures. Yeah, we kind of missed that. Now let's move forward another 10 years. Yeah, there's some natives living there, but they're not really that smart. I don't think they're really intelligent. Boom, 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 eradicate them all, colonize the planet, call it a day. But there you go. That's the progression. Remember that. You got to think about the historical precedent and the historical history about this stuff. Dry, dusty planet, now pretty much confirmed microbes on Mars. So this is just going to keep going, keep getting bigger. And I'm starting to think Randy Kramer, he might not have been as crazy as he sounded.
I was going to say, so the next step would be at 10 years or 15 years down the road, Randy Kramer, Marines on Mars. you cut me off at the pass. All right, Robert, what's up on Facebook says, if you enlarge that pic of the etched boulder you displayed earlier, you'll see squares for eyes carved in it, like a Mayan sculpted head. I didn't see that, but yeah, I believe you. Like I'm willing to believe this stuff because the photographs we get are so doctored with the color and the blurs and all the stitching and things they do. Yeah, I believe it. I completely believe it. Sherry says we're already beyond Mars. Mars is a distraction. Okay. I can buy that too. They're back to the secret space program, right? Randy Kramer was there in the 80s, wasn't he? Larry says, why don't they land a rover near the poles? Ice receding, water pools, algae growth. Yeah, again. So we talked about this with the Chang'e 4 and the Chinese, right? So they had a chance to do that. They could have landed in maybe one of the more water-bearing portions of Mars, which it's again very well known now that there are polar ice caps on Mars and frozen water.
The moon, I mean.
Right. But they did.
You mean the moon, right?
No, on Mars. No,
for the Chang'e. Yeah, definitely. They could have done it on Mars and on the moon as well.
The moon. I'm sorry.
I think you're
correcting me here. Okay, yeah. But okay, back to the moon. But so they could have landed. So the same sort of thing, right? Let's check out the water source. No, they landed in one of those places where there's some anomalous stuff instead. So I agree with you. It's a situation where why the hell are we not landing? So if you're gonna habitate a place, you would land near the water first, right? You would scout it out. You'd be like, hey, this looks like a perfect spot for a base, but they're nowhere near the water, right? It's anyway. So yeah, back to the moon. Sorry, you were correct, right? All right, so let's move on from this. This is kind of preaching to the choir, I think, at this point. So if you guys have comments on this, we're live. It is Tuesday night, 702-957-1037. Troubledminds.org is the official website. Go join the Discord if you haven't. You can be on the show that way as well. The link and the phone number, link for Discord and the phone number on the top right of that website. What do you think? We'll read some comments, but what do you think? Get on the show and let us know.
Let me jump in here. Yeah, let me jump in here to re-emphasize this point because I think maybe it got missed. We really got to re-emphasize this point. They are flat out admitting there is liquid flowing water on Mars. That's the state that we're in now. And it's likely there's bacteria there. That blows my mind because we've been following this for quite a while. We've seen the story change as time goes on. They are flat out admitting there is water on Mars that's liquid, not frozen, and very likely there's bacteria. That's phenomenal. That's insane. That's crazy. And all we can think about is aliens, So this is I'm speechless. This is absolutely amazing. And I think it's all part of the lie too. That's the disappointing part about this. I bet they knew this 20, 30 years ago.
Or 50 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Again, none of this stuff surprises me. And one more time, so that the reason we do this is because we want you to think about these things, right? We're not like NASA disinformation agents or anything like that. Everything we say is open to your interpretation. And it's important for you to use your own mind and to look at the evidence yourself. And so we're just talking through some of that. So don't put us in that, hey, these guys said it. No. Like, all this is possible, of course, but you look at the evidence and maybe you raise your eyebrow suspiciously. And that's good, right? That's good. And a skeptical mind is good, and a mind that's willing to believe is also good. But you have to find some balance between the two, or else you're a Redditor, if you know what I mean. You're a just go make a post on Reddit and you'll see what I mean. Don't even say anything. Don't even make a point. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, Frank. Should we move on to Kung Fu, for crying out loud? Can we get to that one, please? I'm dying to talk about that one.
Okay, yeah, we can. That's it for Mars, but again, that's a big point, and I think people aren't paying attention enough. Yeah, let's move on to this. Let's move on to China, because there have been some very strange things going on in China, and we got to talk about them. The social credit score, genetic engineering of children, all this kind of stuff. So let's get into it. Let's open up this Chinese MMA fighter story. This is quite surprising, quite interesting. Pull that one up.
All right, so this is reported by the ChinaJournal.org. And the headline is, Chinese MMA fighter Zhu Xiaodong, how do you like my Chinese, has social credit score lowered to D, is barred from buying plane tickets and real estate. Well, why would that happen, Frank?
Yeah, this is amazing. So this guy, he's this Chinese MMA fighter. He's learned all sorts of different mixed martial arts. He's learned, like you'd see on the UFC. He's kind of like a UFC Chinese martial art fighter. Meanwhile, in China, they practice these traditional martial arts like wushu and tai chi, praying mantis style, all these kind of things that are, more art forms than they are real fighting science, real effective fighting martial arts. And this guy, I got to pull up, maybe you can do it, or maybe I can, we got to pull up clips of this guy. I thought there was a video in this thing. This guy's beating the crap out of these Tai Chi masters. He's stomping these wushu guys. He's just beating pardon my language, beating the Christ out of these traditional Chinese martial artists. He's just completely destroying them. But what's he doing? In doing that, he's admitting, he's proving to the world that all this stuff is bullshit. Wushu is bullshit. Tai Chi is bullshit. It's not an effective martial art. It's all a lie. It's all fake. Or it's all stylized so much that it doesn't really have any usefulness in society. So this guy, well, they don't like that. They're proving the China historical traditional martial arts are useless. They're proving that. So what do? Well, they say you can't go to the country. You can't buy plane tickets. You can't buy a house. Barred from buying real estate. This is amazing and terrifying.
Yeah, this goes back to the social credit score again. So if you do things that are, this is very 1984, right? So if you do anything that contradicts the state and their narrative, right? And so let me pause right there and make the parallel. Watch the mainstream media, right? Like we said, there are 300 million plus people in this country, just this country, the United States. And for some reason, Fox News and CNN talks about the same 10 stories. 330 million plus people in this damn country. And these clowns talk about the same damn 10 stories. And you talk about narratives. You talk about building an official story, right? That's what these guys are about. That's what all of this is about. That's what every single thing that you watch when you turn on an actual sanctioned television, right? And I say that as maybe from the aspect of 1984 and the party, right? But what was the name of the party? INSOC, right? That was English Socialism. INSOC, right? 1984. If you haven't read that book, read it, and then be ready to be terrified because we live it. And not only do we live it, when we don't, we're headed there. And this is a perfect example. So this guy proves the state wrong, their narrative of Tai Chi and what is it? Help me out here.
Wushu and
Wushu,
and all these crazy Shaolin monks. It's all fake. It works. It's a good, healthy thing for exercise, but you're never going to beat anyone up with it. You're never going to win a fight. You're never going to overthrow the government with these ineffectual martial arts. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so this guy proved them wrong. He basically, so he learned Western MMA, right? So everybody's familiar, mixed martial arts, and so it's a nice mix of wrestling, right? Of actual down to the mat wrestling type of leverage type of situations. It's boxing, it's kickboxing, right? It's a little bit of that, but it's all mixed together because it's actually built for combat, for actual, like, oh, they're coming to get you type combat. Oh, they took your guns. All right, well, I got my fists, I got my feet, right? Like that's what this is built for. Well, let's watch this video real quick. Hopefully they show him beating the asses of some wushu masters or something. I think we got.
They definitely do. The video at the top of this page, it's amazing to see this guy go because he tears them apart. So yeah, let's watch this video.
Okay, all right, let's play this, and I think I've linked it. If I didn't, I will link it as this is playing. Check this out. Okay, so again, this is a Chinese MMA fighter that's beating the asses of kung fu grandmasters, right? I didn't say masters. I didn't say teaching for 10 years. I said grandmasters, right? Like probably what would you say? Probably could be senators if they wanted to because they're held in such high esteem in China. But anyway, here we go. Let's play this and laugh along. Pause this and read it. Kung Fu has a huge online audience in China. I'm going to read it for the audio only folks that this ends up finding its way to, so forgive me the video folks. Here we go. Some believe Kung Fu masters have mystical powers. A lot of people are scammed by fake martial arts. They are brainwashed, says this individual.
多这样的人是被这些虚假的、假的中国传统的武术文化所骗，给洗
A lot of people are
脑了。那么我现在要
what I want to do is fight the fakery and let them know what is true. Hey, does that sound familiar, Frank? Fight the fakery, let them know what is true. One way or the other.
Quite familiar.
Quite familiar. Yeah, we're already a fan of this guy. I think we should offer him asylum. Let's open the borders up. All right, action.
要做的就是打假，让他们知道什么是真实的东西。
Zhu Xiaodong is a mixed martial arts fighter. And they got him punching some bags here and training mixed martial arts. He is on a mission to expose fakery in Kung Fu. And here's him fighting a Grandmaster. April 2017. Okay, so if you missed it because it happened so damn fast, he whooped that Grandmaster's ass in 30 seconds or less. Like it started and they stood there for 10 or 12 or 15 seconds, and then he proceeded to absolutely drop him to the ground and whoop his ass. Okay, so here's another one. Action.
Yeah.
And there we go. The second fight. That one went for like all of 8 seconds. It was a low kick and a miss, and then a punch to the face, and bam. And it says he became a controversial figure after defeating 2 well-known masters. And there you go. You saw him yourself. So I've linked this if you want to play it back and cheer. But yeah, you were about to say something, Frank.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to play the whole thing, but his life is destroyed. So he had to withdraw from public life. He's had to publicly apologize, and pay damages to these martial arts masters for insulting them. And it's not like he's actually insulting them, like calling them names, insulting them in defeating them. His life is ruined. And there's a famous video of him like crying, because he can't do anything. He's been downgraded to a D-class citizen, literally a D-class citizen. This is horrible. So you see him there. He beats the crap out of these people. I don't know what to make of this. Like, think about, I'm taking this to the extreme here with another conspiracy hot take, but imagine this. We have the Second Amendment in this country, right? We have our guns to protect ourselves. All these guys have is their martial arts. So they use these martial arts and they think, well, if there's a problem one day, I can use Tai Chi, I can use Wushu to fight off the government. I can fight off the government soldiers. At least I have something. What if they've, this is getting pretty crazy. What if they've purposely engineered these martial arts to be as useless and ineffectual as possible, to cripple, to make their population useless, to make their population unable to resist? What if they've done that on purpose?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there was some sort of infiltration there. It brings to mind, actually, a similar situation in Brazil. Are you familiar with that? I think it's called capoeira. Have you heard of that, Frank? Where it's so they weren't allowed to actually have weapons in Brazil, and as a result, and they weren't actually allowed to train as any sort of fighting style. So what they did is they created this a fighting style that appeared to be dancing. So I'll pull something up and we'll put it here. But you see, right? Like it's sort of the thing where it's not necessarily out of the stretch of the imagination to say, hey, the government's kind of cracking down on self-defense, because it did happen there. It happened in Brazil, and so they were not even allowed to train wushu or jeet kune do or whatever this Thai kickboxing, whatever it is. They couldn't do it. And so they had to disguise the fighting style as a dancing style, right? And so that's kind of how they did it. So yeah, I don't think you're off base at all here. I think we're in a situation where that might be the case, at least watering down the combat styles. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I got some good comments here. So Kelly says Bruce Lee would beg to differ, and I think the thing about it is Bruce Lee was very much in the vein of this guy, in the same sort of. Hey, let's consolidate these styles. Let's make sure that what we're talking about is an actual like combat situation, and not like Frank said, more of like a disciplined dance or a disciplined what would you say? It's a more of a show, right? Less of a show, more combat, and that's what Bruce Lee actually did. So you're correct there, and I think this guy's kind of fighting at the heart. This MMA fighter Zhu Xiaodong again. There you go for my amazing Chinese, but I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to say, look, the stuff you guys are doing is not effective. let's do the stuff that's effective. And so maybe he's not Bruce Lee, of course, because Bruce Lee's one of a kind, one in a century, 1 in a million type of thing, 1 in 10, a billion, whatever you want to say. He was amazing, but he reformed martial arts, and this guy is kind of trying to do the same. But look what happened, right? So Bruce Lee came here; he was able to do it. This individual is still in China, and now he's barred from buying plane tickets and buying property because it's embarrassing the Chinese. Another couple good comments here. Timothy says Bruce Lee, be like water, or be like water. Yeah, Bruce Lee. And let's see. What else?
Just to jump in there real quick, is that Bruce Lee founded Jeet Kune Do. I think that's how you say it. But that was a hybrid martial arts style, much like a mixed martial arts style. So he wasn't doing wushu, he wasn't doing tai chi. He founded his own martial arts style, one that was effective, right? Whereas all these Shaolin monks and whatever, they're practicing this stuff that just doesn't really work.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? So it's like we were talking about this just briefly before we started the show for like 30 seconds, and I said to Frank, it kind of reminds me of that situation where you have those guys that do the energy, right? Where they can knock people down without actually touching them. Is it the ki energy they call it? The chi, the ki, whatever you call it, right? But it seems to be less, at least from some of the stuff that we've looked at in some of the situations. Of course, everything is not all-encompassing, but there are situations where it doesn't seem to be anything at all, and it's more of like a brainwashing tactic, right? So it's like the master is so well esteemed, he does like the non-touch punch type of thing, and people fall down and go, "Oh, that hurt," right? But then they do it to somebody who's not part of the, wink wink cult, and they don't feel anything, right? Because they're not under the snake charming of the master here. But you see the point. So I'm not saying that stuff doesn't exist. I'm saying that there are situations where we fool ourselves into thinking that what we know is effective, and this seems to not be the case. Maybe definitely not. Yeah. So Todd adds, if martial arts were fake, all the militaries of the world wouldn't use them to train their soldiers in hand-to-hand combat. This subject is bullshit. I love you, Todd. You're amazing. No, but this is the thing. The Chinese do not train their army in crane-style kung fu. Okay.
Yeah, that's Jesus. I got to jump in there. That's exactly the point we're trying to make. Is their military will get the effective styles. Their military will have the styles that actually works. Meanwhile, crane style kung fu and tai chi and wushu, they just don't do anything. And you saw that guy, like there's proof right in front of you. He destroyed them. The one guy went on the ground. He had like 9 punches to his head. He wasn't letting up. But those styles, some of them, they're definitely effective. But the popular ones, the ones that, old people practice and students practice in high schools, they're just useless. They're garbage. And that's the point, is they're saving the good ones for themselves. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah. Again, I thought it was curious because so you would figure they would reward this guy nationally, right? Except the problem is that the MMA style is a Western style, right? Like it's a quote Western style, and so he's not rewarded for that. You would think they would be smart enough to say, okay, yeah, let's reform what we're doing and make it better. Let's change it. Let's get better. No. Instead of that, you embarrassed us. Your social credit score is lowered to a D, and you can no longer buy plane tickets in real estate. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Philip, Chi, Ki. I don't know how to say it. Again, I'm not Chinese. You guys will forgive me. I don't know. Sherry says, didn't see Kung Fu in Vietnam. I don't know if they have it there. I've never been there, so if you have, okay. Todd adds, Wushu has been around for thousands of years. You don't know what the fuck you were talking about. You're such a hater. Drink some more, bro. I think the guy up top was right. You're drunk. Okay, no more comments from Todd tonight. He's just being a hater. Okay, so all right. So where does this lead, Frank? Like, we're talking about the social credit score in China. Now, you'd figure, like I said, they would reward this guy, but instead, he's punished. So what ends up happening to their population as a result that want to learn how to defend themselves? I think it's just like you said.
Yeah, they can't do it. So anything that embarrasses China using a Western martial art inside China, well, that's not allowed. Same thing. So I don't know if you want to move on from this or if you have any more comments about it.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring it up because I got a kick out of this. So if you guys have comments, again, here we are. How much time we got? We got about 10 or 15 minutes left. So if you now's the time if you want to call in. We talked a lot about Mars and NASA and some other things. If you think it's all BS, no problem. We love you, Todd. Call us and let us know. If you think it's not and you think we're onto something or think we've missed something entirely, no problem. We're here for that too. So call us. Let us know. 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. Click the Discord, get in here, and let us know what's up. Again, think about it. Think about it. Imagine this. Let's say I'm Nancy Pelosi, and let's say Frank is Mitch McConnell, right? And you want to ask them a question. Well, guess what? If we were those people, you wouldn't be able to because they're protected. Because they hide behind the people that protect them. They only take questions that are pre-scripted, and they only take interviews that are vetted with friendlies that lob them softball questions they've probably seen in advance. Okay? No problem. We're not those people. We are not those people. We're talking about shit they don't want us talking about. The shit China definitely doesn't want us talking about. But it doesn't matter. We can be wrong. We've been wrong. We will be wrong again. If you think we are, call us. Again, transparency. I think like Frank in the very beginning of the show, he said that's the problem, right? Like you don't get any transparency with the government. Well, here we are. Transparent as you can get, because you can call us during these things and let us know. So, and to note, if you're listening to these on an archive or broadcast or whatever, you can also call that phone number because it is live 24/7. So leave us a message and we'll play your message on the show. And we do have two messages. One is inaudible, unfortunately. It's like somebody mumbling, and then the other one is just asking when the show starts. So, so we are listening to those and we are watching those. So if you want to leave a message later, no problem. We're there for that too. But yeah, I don't know, Frank. What do we do? We want to squeeze some more stuff in, or I don't know. How you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, let's there was some more China stuff, but let's leave that to the side because there's more important stories to talk about. So let's go back to UFOs because this came up on my new favorite website, the War Zone from thedrive.com. So another Tyler Rogoway joint. Are some of the UFOs Navy pilots are encountering actually airborne radar reflectors? Now, again, I want to make something very clear here. If Farmer Jimmy Bob in Iowa sees a UFO and he films it, I'll take him for his word because he has no reason to lie. He has no reason to make stuff up. He has no reason to inflate the details. All that farmer wants to do is grow his crops, and that's it. It's not like he has a YouTube channel. If the government comes out and starts saying they're UFOs, I'm going to be very highly skeptical because they have the radar installations. They have the planes in the sky. They have the scientists. They have everything they need. So if they really want to officially disclose information, they have to do a damn good job of it for me to believe it. That's the point. So when we criticize this To the Stars Academy, I'm trying to hold them to a higher standard of proof because they have to be held to a higher standard of proof. If they start lying and, using fake videos, what kind of world are we living in? But let's open up this article. The UFOs Navy pilots are encountering, are they actually airborne radar reflectors? Do you have this one pulled up?
I do. You gave me enough time to find it. Here we go. I'm pasting it if you guys want to check it out. And again, as always, if you're listening on YouTube or listening in archive, all these links will be in the YouTube version as well. So if you want to follow up, just scroll down to the underneath the video and just click more, and you'll see all the links. So okay, so what is it? So you're saying that these invisible UFOs might be actual airborne radar reflectors somehow instead? This is a mistake?
Yeah, so this is a great article. It goes into a lot of detail. We won't cover the entire thing because it would take 20 minutes to go through. But essentially, you remember that sighting report off the coast of Florida. I believe it was a Navy pilot. He saw what looked like to be a cube within a sphere. You remember that quote? It was the New York Times, the Washington Post, all this kind of stuff. I think it was even on that show, Unidentified, on the History Channel. He described seeing a translucent sphere with a cube inside. Do you remember that?
I do. So that was part of the whole deal, right? And that was in Unidentified, Lou Elizondo. Like this has been kind of regurgitated a couple times, even the cube inside of the sphere. Sorry. And yeah, definitely. So this is Tyler Rogoway, right? This is our buddy from the War Zone. That's a aviation expert. But okay, so there's our cube within a sphere, yes, or a sphere within a cube, or
Exactly. So he went to looking, he looked for alternative explanation. If it's not a UFO, let's try to come up with an explanation for what this could be. And he found a patent, US patent number 2,463,517. If you scroll down to the image embedded in, you'll see the link to the patent. But this is an airborne corner reflector, and they use these things everywhere. So you see, what does that look like? There's a sphere, and inside it, there's a cube. It's not actually a cube, it's a corner reflector, but from far away would look like a cube. There you go. So radar hits those corner reflectors, then reflects back at the source of the radar. That's why they're designed in that very particular way. But isn't that a reasonable explanation? That's exactly what the pilot described. That's exactly what the pilot saw. And it's a cube, and it's in a sphere, and they're using it out there. So are they lying to us? Was the pilot mistaken? What's going on? If you take away the fact that the pilot said this thing was moving all over the place and flying up and down, if you take away the fact that all that happened, which is just his word, you get exactly what you see there in the patent, this radar corner reflector.
Yeah, and so this is, again, this is back to when you see these types of things, right, with actual, this was the FA-18 Super Hornet, they call them, that actually had the contact in the Nimitz incident in 2004, to be specific, because you have to be specific, right, when you're talking about radar signatures and these types of things. Now, this guy is somebody who's into this all the time. Again, Tyler Rogaway, follow him on Twitter if you have not. Very important information this guy drops all the time. And so, yeah, so maybe he's actually found one of the actual radar signatures for this, and this is an accident. So explain to me why this would be a big to-do if this is just a simple radar anomaly that they could account for. That's this guy, a civilian, as far as I'm aware, can pick out. Like this is I don't know, almost embarrassing for the media and the government and everybody else.
No, I disagree. Okay, again, take it very conspiratorially. They know exactly what it was. They saw, maybe the pilot was flying by, saw this and said, "Hey, I see a UFO." And they said, no, that's just a radar reflector. Why don't you get a picture of it? Why don't you take some images of it? But yeah, it's just a radar reflector. Then 15 years passes, 10 years passes. And they're like, well, we have a secret plot to implement Project Bluebeam. We have a secret plot to convince everyone that aliens are real. They're coming here and they're going to destroy the world. Why don't we use this video? It sure looks like a UFO. Why don't we use this video? It's such an obscure technology. No one even knows it's out there. We'll use this as proof that aliens are here and they're coming for us. Right? You could see something like that happening.
Yeah, possibly. We got some good comments here, and we'll follow up on this, guys. So this is new. I just heard this. This is June 22nd, 2019. And so this is an aviation. I'm not going to call. I called him an expert. I'm not sure if he is, but he's definitely more educated in these types of things than Frank or I. And so, for our purposes, he's the expert here. And so, if he found some way to explain away the what is this, the square within the sphere, then okay. And we have some good comments here. Kelly says, "Well, let's see one in the sky then." And I agree, right? Okay, fine. So let's see one in the sky. Like let's replicate this and be able to have a look. But here's the problem, right? Back to the transparency in the government. You need an FA-18 Super Hornet, right? Like in the sky, running radar to actually to replicate this, right? And then they have to release the video afterward, which again would be transparency. So you see, we're kind of shouting into the same brick wall that we'll never get these answers. Even if this is the thing, let's say if this is easily explained away, and the whole Tom DeLonge bit is all this, right? Or mostly this, let's say. Well, we still won't know because they won't tell us. Because if there's some sort of anomalous thing that happens with the radar, and it can be exploited, of course they won't let us know because then it will be exploited by our quote unquote adversaries. So yeah. I mean I follow you guys. And Kelly says that's just a piece of paper. And I agree, right? Let's replicate it. I agree 100%. Except how are we going to
let me jump in there. Let me jump in there to say, pardon me for interrupting, that remember, we just talked about Mars and life on Mars and buildings on Mars for an hour or two. I'm all in on UFOs. But we should be able to go to Tom DeLonge. We should be able to go to Lou Elizondo and ask this question. Is what this guy saw just an airborne corner reflector? And then Lou Elizondo and Tom DeLonge should be able to come back to us and say, well, we don't know. We tested that. We put one up in the air, we had a plane fly by, and we ruled it out. It definitely wasn't that. But you'll never hear about this again. I almost guarantee you will never hear about this again. Tom DeLonge, Lewis, they'll never mention an airborne corner reflector. I'm almost positive of that, right? So transparency. Could it be this? Maybe. And they could answer the question. That's the point we're trying to make here, is that this guy, he is an aviation expert, by the way. He reviews planes and looks at all this stuff. Again, this website is amazing. But we should be able to go to these people and say, is this a plausible explanation? Just like NASA, just like all those photos we showed. And they should be able to come back to us and say, we ruled it out. It's not likely.
Right, or exactly, they would know these things. And also to note, again, we always talk about this guy because he's fantastic and tries to hold the government accountable where and when he can. Tell me you're surprised, Frank. John Greenwald Jr. of theblackvault.com. He just actually had a podcast this week with Tyler Rugway on there. So, and he talks a little bit about this particular thing. So if you guys are interested in more of this and want to see some of the inside workings of an expert in aviation here, this is the guy. This is one of, not the guy, of course, because there's going to be lots of guys, but he's one of the guys that actually is trying to put the information out and come up with plausible explanations for these quote UFOs. Okay, which is fine. It's fine by me. Like it's one thing to be like, hey, stop debunking my UFOs, right? But it's another thing entirely to be like, hey, maybe he's right about this one particular thing, Like maybe you can rule out this exact UFO shape with this, Maybe you can't. But I would think that in the future we're going to see at least simulations of this to be able to describe it. Yeah, he did say, I did listen to the Black Vault, and that's how I know Tyler Rugway is on there. But he did say that he's got a couple articles in the works coming out that will elaborate on more of this. And so as of right now, this is the first one. Again, June 22nd, 2019. So this is brand freaking new. I did link it if you want to check it out. Very good stuff. The Warzone and the Drive, they're both the same kind of the same website. But yeah, check it out. And again, remember, guys, like it's good to be skeptical. It is, and it's good to have an open mind, right? But you have to find the balance that works best for you, right? Because it's about you. It's not about me. It's not about Frank. It's not about the government or Tyler Rogoway or any of these people. It's about what you believe, right? When all of this boils down, it has nothing to do with any things we say. It's only what you believe. We're just kind of throwing this out there and trying to, get to the bottom of things, right? I guess that's the way I would put it, right, Frank? Get to the bottom of one thing.
Absolutely. Get to the bottom of it. And the transparency issue, it's always coming back to this thing, transparency. They could solve this question, no problem. They have the Navy on their side, right? That's the story as it goes. They have all these insiders. They could answer this question in 5 minutes if they wanted to. The fact that they're not wanting to, it makes me suspicious. So again, I just said it. I'll take Farmer Bob in Idaho. I'll take his word. But when the government comes out, I'm going to be skeptical. I'm going to be so skeptical of what they're trying to pull, what they're trying to push. Something fishy about it. Now you can scroll down here in the article. He shows another patent, another one of these miniature robot surveillance balloons that could be one of these things. So this is reminiscent of the swamp gas and all that, but To the Stars and Lou Elizondo and Tom DeLonge could explain this way easily, and the fact that they're choosing not to, that really worries me.
Yeah, okay, and I'm going to go back to this full screen. And so notice, guys, when you go to give me some, you go to CNN or you go to Fox or you go to, what's some really shitty ones? What's some really shitty, 2-paragraph articles that you see, like that type of stuff all the time? Notice, right? Like, look, I'm going to go all the way to the top. Look, Frank said, scroll down a little bit, and look, I'm scrolling. I'm still scrolling. I'm scrolling. And finally you get to the part where he says, scroll down a little bit. Like these articles are well researched. It's you can say it's a lot of hot air or whatever, but, right, if you're trying to hide something, you do it briefly. Wouldn't you? Because you don't want to be questioned. You don't want, if you do it briefly and say this is definitive, that's the answer, right? You're providing an answer. But if you're providing something at length, you're kind of not really providing an answer, are you? You're kind of having a discussion, You're looking at possibilities, and this is what we're looking at here with the drive and the war zone. So again, if you're not familiar with the site and you're into aviation, this type of thing, UFOs, he does touch on the UFO stuff from time to time, and very good stuff. But scroll down to the miniature robot surveillance balloon. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff.
And this is something the New York Times should be doing. Like, I challenge, if you've got, let's say, 15 minutes to spare, you're at work, you're taking your lunch break, read that initial UFO to the stars New York Times article, then go and read this. The New York Times is the paper of record. It's the one we should be paying attention to. And they don't ask any of these questions. They don't look at the patents. They don't do anything. It's almost a joke. Compare this article, goes in depth, discusses the nuances, then look at the New York Times article. It just eats it up. So you can tell by comparing the two articles who's really in it for the truth. And it's not the New York Times.
No, it's definitely not. They're the narrative drivers, and like I said, you need to be careful of those people. Those are the people that are trying to brainwash you and me. And like I said, go make a post about anything on Reddit, and you'll find one of them. You'll find the Don Lemonites that'll come right after you and be like, "That's racist." And you're like, "Well, I just said hello." Like, yes, that's racist. Trust me, they're out there. It's crazy. Like the world is turned into a crazy place. Okay, you know that. If you're here, you know that. All right, anyway. So we got a couple minutes left. Anything to wind this out, Frank? Hold on, let me add real quick. This is live. If you guys want to call, if you think, again, transparency. If you think we're full of it, please call us. We want to be held in check. We want to be held accountable to what we say and some of the things we point out. If you think our Kung Fu bit was bullcrap, call us. Tell us. Give us a counterpoint. We love it. Because why? You don't learn anything unless you get a counterpoint, right? This whole echo chamber business where you're just, everybody's like, oh yeah, everybody's racist. Or yeah, the kids in the cages. Or yeah, the only ISIS comes across the border. This type of business is not healthy for anybody. It's just not, right? And so you need to be challenged, and we invite you to challenge us. So, okay. 702-957-1037. We got a couple minutes left if you want to jump in here. And again, this is not a quick, get in here and we're going to cut you off. No. We've had an open line the whole damn show, just for the record. Okay. Anyway, go ahead and sum this up, Frank.
Yeah, just another note on this story. I'd love to hear someone, maybe in the comments, maybe someone disagreeing with us, why To the Stars can't explain this. Why can they not say, oh, it's not a radar reflector because of this and this and that? You know, why can't they come out? Why can't they be transparent? I saw the story again circulating today that they found that, I think it was the gimbal video on a server in an animation company in the Ukraine in 2007. So that video without the To the Stars watermark, it was uploaded to the server. I think it was in the Ukraine in 2007. Why can't you come out and explain that? If Lou Elizondo was the one that filled out the paperwork and had these things officially released, why was that video on a server 13 years earlier? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There's something suspicious about this whole thing. And again, we should be able to go on. That's what the journalists are supposed to do. They're supposed to look at these things and say, hey, Lou Elizondo, hey, Tom DeLonge, what about this? What about that? What about this? And they never do it. And the reason they're not doing it is because probably they're lying to us.
Do you really think they're lying to us, Frank? Do you think the government's lying to us, Frank? No shit, they're lying. Oh, geez. Larry wants to add on Facebook, great privilege. And he has a little alien emoji. If that's a thing. Dude, contact Don Lemon. You'll get shit on. You'll get put on that show lickety split. There it is. What's up, Emin? How you doing? He's our favorite spook from Discord. He says because it's a controlled disclosure, which serves their agenda. Okay. All right. I can buy that again. Christopher, good to hear both your voices, guys. Thank you. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate that. And Timothy adds, Lieutenant Graves is telling it honest on that show. Oh, on the on the unidentified show. If you guys haven't watched that, I do recommend it because, again, watch it if you're interested in the UFO bit, right? But also, you have to keep your BS sensors up and see what's right. It's a television show. It's a television show, and so right, like Frank said, there's a lot of things that are suspicious about all this. And notably, I'll point out once again that government disclosure on a television show is probably one of the most suspicious things possible. So Yeah. There's some, again, right? If Lou Elizondo was leaking, he would probably be in jail, right? If it was government disclosed, or government sanctioned, let's say, is what I meant to say, then he probably wouldn't be. You see? Like, there's no intervention. You do think the government could have stopped this History Channel show from hitting the air if they wanted to? What do you think, Frank?
Without question.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, it's nice and exciting that we're seeing UFO disclosure. It's wonderful. It's what we all wanted. But okay, you remember that old poster in the X-Files? I want to believe. I firmly believe. I want to believe too. That poster in Mulder's office. We got to change that poster in 2019. We got to change it to they want you to believe. And think about the comparison. I want to believe versus they want you to believe. It takes on sinister connotations because they want us to believe something. Why? And why don't they answer these details? Why aren't they more transparent? Why? If you believe I'm a skeptic after listening to the segment on flying people, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, come on, the stuff we cover, it's crazy, it's insane. And this is real. This is real in more details. I want these questions explained. I want to know if that was a radar reflector. I want to know why that video was released ahead of Lou Elizondo by 13 years. I want to know all these things, and so should you.
Exactly right. And so here we are talking about it again. Remember, we don't have answers. We only have questions. So as we, it's a fine line to walk, right? You want to ask questions. You want to tell a good story. You want to have a good time. And we want you to have a good time. So it's a fine line to do all those things at the same time. We try our best, right? We're only two guys. Again, like Frank calls us affectionately, and I agree with him. We're just two knuckleheads on the internet, and that's the facts, right? We're not professional broadcasters, as you can tell. We're dare I say, we're not even good at this. But it doesn't matter. None of that matters, right? It doesn't even matter, because if it gets you to think one single little bit, that's what this is all about. So that's what we're here for. And again, we're still waiting for a call. No phone calls tonight. We've had plenty of good phone calls over the course of this show, so I'm not giving up on y'all, but I do love to hear from you. So how much time we got here? We about done? About done? Yeah, 2 hours, 12 minutes. That's about done. That's about done. I can cue out for music, Frank, if you want to start this. And
yeah, let's call it. I think, and what a show! What a show! We've all this stuff on Mars. You know, they admit it in plain sight. They admit they're changing these things in plain sight, and then you go to look at the stars. Oh no, they're telling the truth. There's no problem there at all. They're not lying. They're not why can't I talk? They're not messing up the details. They're not changing things. You know, we see one government agency lying to us in plain sight, NASA, and then we look at these guys and we assume they're telling the truth. You know, there's a disconnect there. You want to believe, so you'll eat everything they're saying with a silver spoon, but they're lying as much as everyone else. And so we've got to really hammer down these details. We've got to put these people to the task. We've got to get more information, and we're not going to do it by sitting there eating our popcorn, feet up on the couch, just buying everything they tell us. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
A show.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it.
we hope you enjoyed it. We did, for sure. Timothy adds, I'm skeptical of the rest of it for the most part. We're not challenging you, man. We're not. It's not like that. But we're just saying, like, definitely watch it, definitely enjoy it, definitely have a good time, but keep your BS sensor on point, because you got to be able to sniff it out for yourself. So yeah, we will stay on them, because they haven't proved all the things they've been saying. They've been saying a lot of outlandish things, let's say, back to the Stars Academy. So we will be the watchdogs on that, as we have been. And there we go. So a couple more comments here. Appreciate you guys sticking with us. Christopher says, prayers for Dog the Bounty Hunter's wife and family. Read she might not make it. Yeah, there we go. And Sherry says she's in a coma. So I don't watch that show, but I do know who he is, and I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, prayers for all the people here as well, and everybody listening, and all the human beings out there, because we all need them, right? We all need them. All right, here we go. Let's see. Emmons says, you guys may do other stuff in your free time, but you choose to do this. Respect, man. More power, Frank and Mike. Yeah, look at that, Frank. Somebody gets it, man. Somebody gets it. We could be sleeping right now. I could be in a drunken stupor right now, but I'm not. We're here doing this instead. Thank you, Emin. Appreciate that. That's our favorite spook from Discord. Hi, Samantha. Good night. Thank you for listening, guys. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. And here we are. You're listening to Trouble Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, the magnificent Frank Pierce. Thank you for listening, and from our Trouble Minds to yours. Have a great night. Catch you guys Thursday show. Yeah, Frank? Thursday show.
Absolutely. We'll be back.
We'll be back. See you guys Thursday. Thanks for hanging in, and we'll see you soon. Oh yeah, and thanks to Todd for the music here. This is Todd's music. All the hate he dumped on us tonight. Thank you, Todd. This music is good. I enjoy it. All right. Catch you guys later.